Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks for tuning to it. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com, where you're going to listen live via the streaming free. If you miss anything, go back, get caught up. All 3 hours going to be posted both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. Upon the conclusion of the show, you can always email us as well. If you like, it's JCS@979. ESPNradio.com. On Twitter, follow at 979 ESPN Radio, and you'll be able to watch the show Periscope. Also, you can follow me, JCS@979 ESPNradio.com. I would note that if you want to watch on YouTube, fire away. Go to YouTube, type in ESPN Tallahassee. WTSM app, good for your mobile devices. Good to be back with you. It's Balls McWednesday. Tomorrow, we will be at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Let's get that out there right off the bat as Major League Baseball returns. Opening day tomorrow afternoon. Should be gorgeous out on the deck. Get a tall, cold one. Come inside, eat some apple pie, check the Vegas wall, and watch baseball until your heart is content.
That sounds like one hell of a plan.
It's a good plan. It's the plan we're going to execute. It's the plan we're going to be a part of tomorrow at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, Appalachia Parkway. Come one, come all, come when you can. We'll be there having a good time, and I look forward to this day every year as you usher in baseball to go along with, you know what? It's weird. Baseball comes in, and you start baseball because it's such a long season with a leisurely pace, which is just kind of what you need coming off of a hell of a run from Florida State into the Elite Eight. Now as we get set for the Final Four, you've got the NHL playoffs on the verge of starting. Of course, they're hyper intense, especially when you're like Tom and I. You got a team that has a chance to maybe win it all. So you get pumped up about that. They got to play better, I know, but they'll be all right. I know you're bad taste in your mouth, 3-0, no effort game. I know. Yeah, the Joe Bolts fan thing. We can all listen into your complaint.
Yeah, that's right.
There you go.
On Fridays, JoeBucksFan.com. There you go.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So there's that. And then, you've got spring football, which now we're all pumped about because it's getting so close to when we can actually go out there and see what they've done and how they're different, what that's going to look like to varying degrees, certainly. And it's always fun to listen to Willie Taggart. Well, I don't know about fun. Fun's not the right word. I like Willie. I like everything he's done. I loved how he's tried to really create a community, and he's reached out to important people in FSU lore, whether that be former players, former legendary coaches, and the like, and certainly to the fans in this area. But he's boring as all hell to listen to post-practice. There's no getting around that. Doesn't mean he's not saying something, but I was going to say that it's always fun. It ain't really fun. It's just, I think the guys are improving, and he trails off from the mic, and you're kind of just like, all right. Yeah.
I thought the first couple of pressers were just excited, exhausted Willie finally coming down.
Some of that was true, but this is also just
kind of who he is. He's a cool customer.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. You can be whoever you want to be if you win a lot of football games. That's all.
If you're winning, he's as cool as the other side of the pillow.
Yeah.
If you're losing, he's boring.
You got to say something, Willie. Come on. Anyhow, he has said plenty. We'll touch on spring practice in a second. But last night, we did not get a reprieve from the mounting losses at the hands of the University of Florida in baseball. And it wasn't for a lack of quality play. At least certainly we pitched and played good defense and did all the things ordinarily you'd think it takes to win a baseball game, like – we didn't go about the process of trying to win this game by giving up a lot of runs. No, just gave up one. Just the one. Turns out it was enough. Once again.
What's the fewest amount of runs you can give up and lose a ball game?
There it is on display again last night. Ding, ding, ding. Damn it, man. Now, I feel you. I know people get outraged, and I'm not happy. And I think, without question at this point, it's well within reason that you kind of have that moment where you say, well, listen, I get it. Streaks happen, and they're very frustrating, and the ebbs and flows of rivalries are sometimes, taking you on home to paradise, and other times really the reason for your anguish. I got all of that, but enough is enough. Sweet Jesus, can we win a ball game against Florida at some point in baseball? I mean, yeah. I had It's moments. I didn't freak out because, again, we all understand how baseball is. And we understand that, you can play well and lose. And a one-off is a one-off. We lose every one-off against Florida, every one of them these days. And that is starting to get very, 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 very old. It is. But we also know that we're all capable of entertaining thoughts simultaneously. Multiple things can be true at the same time. We know that. We're complicated individuals. Florida State's in the midst of a good season. They're playing well. They're not playing poorly. It's a good team right now. And they've got plenty of good series wins that you feel strongly about. You feel like they're building towards something that is going to be a successful campaign in the ACC. They got a big series coming up against Louisville. All of that's true. Just came off a big series win against North Carolina on the road. Knocked off UCF. UCF's a team that could beat Florida, Tom. Knocked off UCF here twice.
So we'll just have to go transitive property until further notice.
Yeah. We beat UCF's ass, Tom. Really wasn't all that competitive.
There you go.
They wanted no piece of it. But then that was coming off the big series win they had against Florida. We don't have those these days. Well, we don't even play series with Florida. That's the other frustration. I really would like to, at some point, entertain the discussion one more time. Can we get back to some semblance of a real series, please? I'm not even saying that just because we lose all these one-offs. I'm sure there's a part of me that's saying that because we lose all these one-offs. But I'm not, at least intentionally at this moment, saying that because we lose these one-offs. It's just better for everybody involved to see what does it look like over the course of, 4 games, 3 games, back to back to back to back. Can we get that? I don't know that it would make a difference right now. Florida's program is arguably the best in the country. And, I'll just say this. That doesn't sit right because that's our goal. It's our stated goal, right? And when you're the better program for the better part of both these programs' history, it's hard to accept being surpassed. And it's hard to accept when you get beat every time you play Florida. But it's also true that nobody else is currently playing better. So it's weird. It's like, I'm sure LSU feels very aggravated by all of this. I'm sure, Georgia and everybody else does too. But when they're your arch rival, it digs a little deeper.
It does until you, I don't want to say don't care because that's wrong. But until you just can chalk it up and then be surprised by success.
Well, you're getting into the expectation argument, and it's not an argument. It's what happens. The only reason disappointment occurs is when you have expectations that are not met.
Well,
so you don't go into these games, and this is a damning statement, Tom, and I'm not mad at you. You don't go into the games against Florida expecting to win. Now, we don't have to say a damn thing else about your thought on this or mine. The fact that that is exactly how you and so many others feel currently about that series says everything. You're basically saying, well, I didn't get too upset last night because I surely didn't expect to win. Well, God, dog. I mean, that is pitiful, but it's an accurate sentiment currently.
It's the reality. When you're beat over the head with it so many times in a row, then you adjust. And that doesn't mean that it doesn't mean I don't think we're going to have a lot of success. We'll be, hopefully a national seed this year, even with Holton out. I mean, we're projecting to be a really, really good baseball team in the hunt for a national seed when it all matters. And if you can host those series, well, then you're not playing Florida in a super regional.
You got your brains. You got lost to Florida last year, too, and you ended up going back to the College World Series, and you won the ACC, and you finished as the 6th best team in the country. It was far from a sorry year.
Right, and we were a worse team last year when we were losing to Florida midweek than we are this year. There's no doubt about that because that was in the midst of setting program marks for ineptitude at 25 games, 30 games, and then we flip it all on its head, and we make it to Omaha again. So baseball is a funny thing, but I've been through this before. I mean, with the Mets growing up, the Braves always win the division. That's just how it's going to go. After a while, I mean, it's 14 straight. If we're down a game or two and we're playing a 3-game series in September, is it going to go our way? No, it's not going to go our way. And we will be leading at least one of those games in the 8th inning or later. And we're going to give that lead up. But it's all right because when I see them on the schedule, I say, this just isn't going to work. The Nationals were like this a couple of years ago. We beat the hell out of the Nationals on a Friday night. It was 6-0, 8-0, whatever it was. at Citi Field, setting up to be a big series. We give up 2 runs in a 3-game series, and we lose the series 2-1.
Yeah.
There's only one way to do that.
That's correct. I get it because I am, too, a fan of the game of baseball, and it frequently leads to this kind of frustration where if you are to pair the talent of one team to the other, there is no reason for a streak to extend to this place, right? Where you would look at, most recently, since you brought up the Mets-Nats, it was absurd.
It was a thing until it wasn't, though.
Right,
and it's going to flip, but you know what? I'm not going to lose my mind and shorten my lifespan screaming at the...
Well, no, and you shouldn't because you're a rational human being, but it's also okay to admit, and I think, you know, it's funny, you come in and you have this conversation after another loss to Florida, and you can both say, all right, look, this is aggravating. There's no getting around that. I mean, I'm echoing the sentiments of so many Florida State baseball fans. Now, we know the extremes on either side. We understand that they're the ones ready to jump off a cliff and fire everybody the second you have a game that doesn't go your way all the time, every day, all year, for every year. So you're not even jumping into that end of the pool because that's just stupid. But you can reasonably say this is ridiculous to continue to lose to Florida this way and not really necessarily have it be a referendum on Martin or anybody else.
Yes.
But still be aggravated and feel that aggravation and feel that frustration that our fan base currently feels. And I think that's true. Like last night's a game, there have been games where you go, well, good Lord, man, if we're not going to pick up the baseball, then you can't win. And you know, Florida's been really good defensively. In the last few years, they made all of the plays. That actually pissed me off to no end because this program was built on pitching and defense, pitching and defense, pitching and defense. That was the mantra all the time. Even back in the days in the 90s when you had a loaded weapon in your hand and you could be beating people in college baseball 20-10, we were still pitching in defense, trying to bunt people over and all that. But Martin stopped doing that a long time ago. We've moved on from that strategy, and we're better about playing for big innings and not constantly giving away outs and things of that ilk. But then suddenly we got worse on defense. We didn't pick up the baseball. We were inconsistent in that realm. We were inconsistent on the base paths, and it really aggravated me. So you'd watch games, you'd lose games in a rivalry like that because they would pick up the baseball, they'd run the bases properly, they'd pitch well, and you'd lose. This wasn't that. They didn't commit any errors last night. They were great last night. Their starting pitching was incredible. Everything about last night's effort on the road was great. Well, you know, away from home.
Sure.
Was great. But they still lost. And that's a little bit, it's a mixture of baseball being baseball, the streak extending because of course it did, and then really doing nothing wrong per se.
Right. Well, they're pissed over there, and they should be. I mean, nobody hates Florida or Miami more than the Martins, right?
Right.
I'm sure they're mad as hell, and they're working to fix it. But for me, on the other side, I mean, you know, I don't like the Gators. In fact, I hate them. I hate them with a passion more than I do the Hurricanes. Well, and that extends across all sports, and I know that's unique, maybe to my generation and time.
No, I think that, this is the age difference.
But even people who grew up in different areas of the state, they feel different ways. If you grew up in Miami and you're an old, you hate the Hurricanes, and if you grew up around Gainesville or Jacksonville or Tampa, you know, the other way. But I look at the weekly schedule, and there's a Tuesday Florida, and then there's a week. I'm like, all right, so after we lose this game, what are we going to take 2 out of 3? That's just where I am.
Well, you have to be. You have no choice right now because you immediately turn your attention to Louisville, who's a really good baseball team. Frankly, it's a more important series. Obviously, well, A, it's a series, unlike the Florida situation, and B, you know, they're in the ACC. You're trying to win the division. They're in it.
Well, and the difference is, and we did this 2 years in a row, the first of which where we play them in a super regional, right? We go down to Gainesville, and we had a couple of watch parties for that series. And that is one of the few times I've been furious because they were just so markedly better than we were. Have we closed the gap?
By a lot.
Yeah, we have. There's no doubt. When you play, when it counts, not these one-offs. I mean, it always counts against Florida. You got to protect yourself because if you don't say it counts, then you're not a true Knoll who hates the Gators, all that crap.
Yeah.
When it really counts, if you can't beat them, which we didn't 2 years in a row, yeah, that's when I get angry. But if it's a Tuesday game and we're just losing these left and right, man, it's a Tuesday game. I hate that we do. I'd prefer we win all of those games. But, I mean, at some point, you just got to shut down on it and let them change the narrative and then latch back on and get rowdy again. But right now, it doesn't matter how the game looks. It could be 9-8, 1-0.
But I'm not resigned to. It does matter how the game looks. I know the results.
Well, no. What I'm saying is the result's going to be the result because you're snake bit right now. It doesn't matter if we score 8; they'll score 9.
But that's not even a real thing.
Well, last year we talked about we're not going to score in the first inning. I was like, yeah, we're going to score at least 2 in the first inning. We did, and then we get pasted. It just doesn't matter. I mean, that's when streaks are like this. No matter what you do, it seems like you're 1 step forward and 2 steps back. It's going to change. That's the nature of sports. But again, there's no sense in taking time away from your grandkids at a younger age because you're screaming all the damn time.
Oh, no, on a Tuesday, you ought not be throwing the chandelier across the room or whatever it is.
Swinging across it and drop kicking people.
Yeah, I mean, you got to keep it in perspective. I got you, but boy, howdy. It has reached a place, and I'm pretty damn rational when it comes to baseball.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like using the word awesome but not meaning cool and great. You're like, that is something.
Well, you actually are using it properly.
Yeah, this is awe-inspiring.
This is awesome to watch this play out.
Oh, my.
Well, so both my boys were up last night getting ready for bed as that game is winding down. I'm telling them.
That game was over.
2 hours. It was unbelievable, right? I'm telling them to get their pajamas on and the whole deal. They want to watch the end of the game. Of course they do, which is fine. We're watching the game. 9th inning starts. And we get 2 guys on. We're not going quietly into that good night time.
First and third, 1 out.
And I said, and this is part of what you're talking about with the, I guess, understanding that when streaks are going this way, it's probably going to go south for us here any second. But I hate when you are given a carrot of hope when they just dangle that thing out there. Like, I don't mean Florida. I just mean the baseball gods go, oh, we'll give you a little hope so you don't just turn it off and go to bed before the inning starts. You might as well watch this play out.
I will poison your soul.
Yeah. So there's the hope, right? And first and third, 1 out, strikeout looking. Now, the second he strikes out looking, you go, well, this is done. There's no chance we get a hit here. Well, that's where your head's at now. That's the headspace you're in.
Yeah.
I mean, against Florida. If against anybody else, you'd be like, oh, well, maybe. But you know in the moment.
You need an error. You need a wild pitch. It needs to be
crazy.
Something that Florida does to itself because we're not going to bail ourselves out. We're going to have to flip this thing because they fell on their face for some reason.
But except you begin the 9th against a shutdown guy with 2 hits.
I'm not saying it's logical. I'm just saying this is where our minds go in situations like this.
You keep talking. We keep doing this. I'm going to throw this computer. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Why does Mahindra have 97% satisfaction? Ask our owners.
This gives me the ability to do what I want to do when I want to do it.
I decided on Mahindra just because of the sheer strength, the size, the ease of the workability, and it was more of a comfortable machine than the others.
You could lift just about anything with that thing. It has never let me down.
And now get the industry's best 7-year limited powertrain warranty on select models.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Oh, you're Paul. I'm the new Sprintern.
Sprint Plus.
Intern. Yeah, clever, right?
I was just...
looking at getting an amazing iPhone 8.
Yeah, because...
They have an all-glass design, advanced cameras, A11 Bionic chip, wireless charging.
And you get the best price for unlimited. Nice meeting you.
Yeah, now you're going to give your second phone to your new friend. Wow, Paul. Oh my God, it's amazing. I love it.
Get the best price for unlimited. And now get one iPhone 8 and get a second one on us. Or get the unrivaled iPhone 10 now for just $20 per month. Visit your local Sprint store, sprint.com/iPhone, or call 1-800-SPRINT1 today.
Requirements 18-month leases for well-qualified customers. Early termination results in remaining balance due. Excludes tax credits applied within 2 bills. iPhone 8, 64GB, $29.17 a month. Second iPhone 8 after $29.17 a month credit. iPhone 10, 64GB, $30 a month after $21.67 a month credit. Compared to unlimited HD plans for 5 lines, carrier features differ. Coverage not not everywhere, subject to credit and $30 activation fee. Speed maximums, use rules and restrictions apply.
Have you ever worked at a place where they didn't want you talking about your salary? Actually, have you ever worked anywhere where they did? Unlikely. But don't you have a right to know? If only there were a simple solution. Well, now there is.
How we find jobs has changed. On Indeed.com, our company reviews give you the inside track on thousands of companies. You can research salaries, benefits, company cultures, and more. All on Indeed.com. Search for greatness. Search Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Indeed is the world's #1 job site according to ComScore total visits.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. I've been telling you that Kraft Nissan is your new tire headquarters, and now through April 30th, buy 3 tires and get the 4th one for $1. We're talking Goodyear, Bridgestone, Continental, Kumho, and more. Plus, all tires come with free lifetime rotations, and Kraft Nissan gives you 2 years road hazard protection on your new tires at no charge. I'm telling you, we beat the box stores, and we beat the tire stores, and we back it up with the Kraft Price Match Guarantee. We beat any competitor's written or advertised price. Also, for a limited time with our express service, 5-quart conventional oil change with free tire rotation for only $36.95 and full synthetic oil for just $46.95, and no appointments are necessary. Plus, don't forget, you can check out all our service specials by opening our service specials tab at craftnissan.com. So if you're tired of driving across town for service, want the very best factory certified technicians, then come to Kraft Nissan. We service all makes and models, and we want to be your one-stop dealer for all your automotive needs. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Call 576-6171.
Might I suggest the chicken taco salad from Banditos Burritos, my friend?
The excitement of the Willie Taggart era at Florida State is in full force. That's why now's the perfect time to sign up at warchant.com. Warchant.com will have wall-to-wall coverage of spring football practice, including the latest on position battles, coach and player interviews, video features, and in-depth analysis. Warchant.com's 3-team writers, Gene Williams, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark, have 50 years of experience covering the Seminoles. And Warchant.com is the only FSU media outlet with a dedicated, full-time recruiting analyst in Tallahassee with the latest on the 2019 class. For your 30-day free trial subscription, head to warchant.com and use promo code WARCHANT30.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
NFL's got some problems, man. They're adapting the college football rule for targeting. We're done here. They got no shot. One of the joys of watching the NFL is that they haven't been like college football when it comes to that rule specifically, right? It's that you could tune in on a Sunday and watch a bitch get lit up and not expect that 15 flags are going to be thrown in a millisecond after the play is over, because they understand football is a physical game. It's a brutal game played by guys that fully understand what they're doing, what they're putting their body through, and what's on the line. But nope. Now we're not going to get that. Now we're going to get endless reviews and guys getting tossed from games, and we're done here. We're done. That's going to go above and beyond. We're already so frustrated. Why can they never they can't. It's one step up, 2 steps back mentality. We're going to get the catch rule right. We're finally going to get the catch rule right, which should have never been messed with to begin with. But we're going to get the catch rule right and then throw it all out the window, because now we're going to be steady tossing people. You know how fast football is played in the NFL? I mean, college football, big-time college football is already lightning quick. That's why officials struggle. That's why we're constantly watching reviews, because guys can't see what they're supposed to see. And it's not their fault. Bigger, stronger, faster has happened and surpassed these old dudes out there and their ability to keep up. I got it. And the NFL, it's even worse. Everybody's faster, bigger, and stronger, above and beyond even the highest level of college football. Offensive players lower their head when they're about to get hit. That's what happens, always. That's what they do. And if you're a defender, you don't come running up breakneck speed and say, I'm going to spear this guy with the crown of my helmet. I'm going to lead with the crown of my helmet, and I'm going to go helmet to helmet, and I'm going to knock him out and give him a concussion. It doesn't happen. You're tasked with getting a guy on the ground. You race up, the plays happen, bam, bam, they happen right now because everybody's so fast and so strong, and the play is so succinct. Quarterbacks throw the ball right now. They have to. The windows are so small. The violence happens, bam, like that. And every time a guy makes a catch, when he's about to get hit, he lowers. You've told us as defenders that you can't go up high. So you've told him time and again, you cannot launch, you cannot go up high. I'm for implementing rules in which guys are discouraged from launching. And if you got to teach them by throwing a lot of flags to make the game safer, I'm for that. But the helmet-to-helmet stuff is a different deal because you have a helmet on for a reason. That's the game. It's what happens. Heads collide. By happenstance, it happens. You're not even attempting for that to happen, but it's because guys, understandably, instinctually, are going to protect themselves when a missile's coming at them. So they lower. The defensive players have already been told can't launch, don't go up high, so they're looking under the shoulder pad. They're looking shoulders down. They're looking to cave your ribs in, hit your thigh, whatever they got to do to get you down. Now you lower, and we're going helmet to helmet. It's happening.
There's a fine line between always seeking improvement and trying to fix something that's not broken. There's a fine line there, and the NFL is on the wrong side of that all the time. If that is actually going to be the rule as it's implemented, a week-to-week basis, get rid of the face mask and change the helmet to a more form-fitting helmet, because that will force players' instincts to change. If somebody is ducking with a helmet the size of an NFL helmet and they're running at you, that is to say they're the offensive player and you're the defensive player, or I suppose it could be the other way around, and you see that with your eyes, that here comes a helmet at eye level approaching me, are you just supposed to take that in the nose? You don't think about the fact that a face mask is in the way. You're going to duck your head for your own self-preservation instinct. That's where I think sometimes this comes into play, especially at the NFL speed. If a running back the size of Adrian Peterson is coming your way and he is lowering his helmet as you're a defender,
yes,
and you see that lowering of the helmet and it's at your eye level as you're running towards him, what are you going to do? Are you supposed to dodge that helmet yourself as a defender? It's just, there's so many real-life applications to this rule that make no sense. There are players, though, I would disagree. I do think there are some players,
very few,
who will try to time the snapping forward of the helmet in order for maximum impact.
Easily
and maximum
identified
effect.
players who get singled out, fined, and suspended. It doesn't happen amongst the...
Not enough happens, though, to a Burfict. I think the Players Association would do well to be aggressive with a player like that, or James Harrison at points of his career, or Patrick Chung, or whoever you want to throw in there.
Rodney Harrison back in the day, the
Yes.
number one offense, yes.
That has to be so much more severe, the punishment for players who do those types of things, because I think you could concede on the other end, all right, let's go a little bit easier on these rules for targeting. Let's not make the game college football where we're waiting 5 minutes every game to see if you're actually ejected or not.
Never played pro football, never even played big-time college football, but I can tell you I never came up to tackle anybody ever at any level of football with the intent to use my helmet as a weapon. It just, you felt better having it on because you're making a tackle and heads hit, and it's what happens. Even with guys, even when you're tackling a running back who's about to lower his shoulder, I mean, low man wins in football. Everybody gets that. So the fight is to get lower. Both sides are trying to get lower. It's leverage.
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree, especially when it's one-on-one. I think where the more dangerous hits come is when there's a pile-on effect. And I don't necessarily mean the pile itself. What I mean is, let's say that you have a linebacker.
Guy's wrapped up. He's
and
wrapped
he has
up
somebody
a running
wrapped
back.
up, and
Right.
here comes the second guy trying to change the pile and move him backward. I don't think those those hits are always designed just to move the pile backward. I think they're to send messages. They're kill shots or spearing at the ground level when somebody's on the ground. I think those are the ones where there's actually much more intent, where helmets are used as weapons.
But I would maintain that you can intend to inflict pain and not have it be what you're describing. Like I know of a lot of times in which either I saw a player hit another guy in the ribs intending to inflict pain. You're sending messages. You're intimidating. You're trying to win that battle of the mind. And you do that by bullying people. It's a brutal game. But that's not the same as spearing somebody, using the crown of your helmet as a weapon or any of those things. There are rules against that to begin with.
There are. They're not enforced enough. Again, I get more angry about a player who's just arriving at the ground and somebody's diving at his back, using the helmet to lead the way. Again,
You toss that guy, that's easy to identify, though. I really think so. I mean, it just doesn't happen that much.
I don't think it's penalized strongly enough, and so now you have to legislate everything from the top down. If you change the worst acts, I think it'll bleed down to the normal ones. And what's happening right now is they're trying to correct normal, moments in the game, normal hits.
I thought they took a huge step forward when they basically said, "Look, we're going to get hardcore on guys that launch." Launching's easy to define. It's easy to understand, and when you launch, and I'm not talking about a guy jukes you out of your shoes so you have to leave your feet to keep him from going around you, or you're desperately lunging, leaving your feet to get to a guy before he gets the corner or whatever that. We can all tell what that is. That's an attempt to tackle. That's an attempt to shove somebody out of bounds. It's an attempt to keep a guy from moving forward. It's not the same as launching for the quote-unquote kill shot. That exists. It's easy to identify. They began to penalize it a lot, as they should have. And you can tell players that you need to use proper technique to wrap up. Now, you can still stick a guy. I mean, for years they played football in which people did not do what you're describing now as a kill shot. And, Big Dick Butkus destroyed people. Just good old brute strength and proper technique, along with
driving people into the ground. That was a big thing, right?
Right. Wrapping up. Picking a guy up, squeezing him, bringing him to you, lifting him off of his feet. I promise you can take somebody's hair there.
Right.
Message sent, right? So you can do that, and you can legislate that, and I think most football fans are fine with it. The stuff with the helmet and what you're intending to do and what's actually, I think, applicable here, I think you're asking guys to make really tough decisions about intent that they really, I don't think, can discern as frequently as this new rule suggests that they can. I don't think you know that. You're talking about obvious examples where a guy's laying on the ground and somebody rolls up and spears him. Those are so obvious.
In the small of the back kind of a thing, so it's a kidney shot. Yeah.
You can get rid of those guys. You can kick a guy out of a game right off the bat when you see that. You can fine him $300,000 if you want. It'll change that.
Think about the targeting call that did not get called at the beginning of the Michigan-Florida game on the kickoff.
Which is amazing to me that didn't get called.
Those types of things.
The play on the sideline.
Right. Again, that's something where somebody's engaged or their momentum is stopped, and so this isn't a head-up, oh bleep moment. I need to brace for impact.
To get low or whatever, yeah.
Because I think what you're describing is most people lower their head because they're bracing for impact. Both sides do, offensive players and defensive players.
Well, and defensive players are forever having to lower because offensive players do so in order to garner leverage and to protect themselves against oncoming defenders. So now we're all going low. And it's hard to get low. I mean, both guys get lower, and they hit heads sometimes.
Yeah, it's impossible to play defense now because you have 3 layers of pass interference. You have the traditional one, you have defensive holding and illegal contact. Then you got a strike zone for a quarterback, and now you have to consider this? How?
Well, and I get you got to keep quarterbacks upright. They're the stars of the game, but don't even get started on that.
But think about defenseless receiver on top of all that. I mean, what the hell? Again,
I don't even know what that is.
That's my old man, on the porch yelling at the kids. That's a defenseless receiver. He has forfeited his defense to make a play on the ball. He is not defenseless. He chose.
Well, it's also part of the game. That realm in which receivers consistently prove themselves to be brave has a psychological effect on defenders. I mean, there were guys, you think about a modern-day broadcaster like Waddle, who played in Chicago, and Waddle and Sylvia or whatever that show is. I mean, Waddle only survived in the league because he showed a willingness to go across the middle and wear it. And that wore on people. You
It's
get
a skill.
damn tired of watching that guy get up time and again and toss you the ball after another first down. Plus, he caught everything. But you know what I mean? I mean, that's how he stayed in the league, was a willingness to sacrifice his body. That's a psychological, I don't know, man. I just feel like every time I hear an announced rule change, I'm left thinking, well, they're going to take the game down a road that they don't want to, because it's going to affect, as I want to say, the integrity of the game. And when you start affecting the integrity of the game, people stop watching. And it's not my league. You know, whatever. They'll lose money and fewer and fewer people will watch. But I do love it. I do love the game. So I hate to see this. And it just seems, there's a common sense element to this. I got the no launching thing. Okay, I got you. We need to stop kill shots. We need to stop guy being held up, somebody coming in, launching, leaving their. I got you there.
I knew it was all downhill when Papa John's left the sport.
Jeff Cameron, Show 97.9, ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
TNT Supercenter is your one-stop shop for the largest inventory of golf carts and accessories, stocking over 150 new and pre-owned carts with prices starting under $2,000. Whether you're looking for a standard or custom golf cart, TNT has the perfect cart for you. TNT carries and services leading brands and a full line of premium Mad Jacks accessories. Stop by or call to find out about our zero-down, low-interest rate financing, free delivery, and rental programs. Visit TNTSupercenter.com.
TNT. I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
For the most watched sporting event in America.
For the win! God! A miracle!
Delicious food, the best drink specials. Connect to their free Wi-Fi and keep up with your bracket. From the opening tip to the cutting of the nets, come see why Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Oh, my goodness!
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Kevin Winter. The NFL owners' meetings continue today in Orlando, and while already this week there has been an adjustment to the wording of the catch rule, two big stories are unfolding today. The first, while the Giants are not shopping Odell Beckham Jr., there is an asking price. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, it is 2 first-round picks, at least. We know that OBJ wants a new contract. We know the team has been disappointed with his actions on and off the field. But again, the Giants still maintain publicly they're not shopping Odell Beckham Jr. The second bombshell that's beginning to unfold is that there is a chance kickoffs could be going away. That is according to Packers president Mark Murphy. Murphy told ESPN's Kevin Seifert that the injury rates on kickoffs remain so high, the league's competition committee is preparing a mandate. Make the play safer, or kickoffs will be recommended for elimination in the near future, not likely for 2018. Lakers guard Isaiah Thomas going to undergo hip surgery. Even with this news, according to Adrian Wojnarowski, Lakers say they're still open to a deal with the free agent.
To win in basketball, you got to play great coverage. And with Straight Talk Wireless, you know you're getting great coverage because they use the exact same 4G LTE towers as the big carriers, but for a lot less. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Refer to terms and conditions of service at straighttalk.com.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Balls Mick Wednesday. Brought to you by TNT Supercenter, 14585 U.S. Highway 19, Thomasville, Georgia. Your one-stop shop for all your outdoor entertainment.
Jeff, email. Kind of an interesting one. Championship prestige. How would you guys rank the 5 most prestigious team titles in college? Mike writes, here's my opinion. Football, 1. Men's basketball, 2. Baseball, 3. Women's basketball, 4. Softball, 5. Enjoy the show. Catch it every week on my car radio. Hey, an old school car radio listener.
Wow, we would call you a listener back in the day.
How about that?
Just a listener.
Nicely done, Mike. Thanks for listening to the show. Well, that's going to be geared towards that list is going to originate by region of the country. If you're in the Northeast, I promise you, winning a collegiate hockey championship is a big damn deal to you.
And probably basketball number 1 for a lot of places, right?
Right. I mean, the fine folks in the New England area really probably couldn't care less about college baseball. It wouldn't make a top 5. Like track and field would be ahead of it. Everything would be ahead of it. I mean, everything would be ahead of it. But in the South, Mike, football's number 1. It's not close. Not close. College basketball, it's second. Again, in the South primarily, college baseball would be third. I think that's true. I'd put track and field well above women's basketball or softball that nobody really cares about. So I don't know. I'd like to see those teams do well. I'm not trying to disparage people who play them. They're college athletes. That's great, and there's plenty of sportsmen play that I don't care about either. I'm just trying to be honest with you.
I think I'd probably, of the non-traditional sports, and those being, basically the big 3 here at Florida State.
Yeah.
Every school has a different traditional sports lineup. We've already won one of these, though, and we're as good as anybody. Soccer, women's soccer.
I love women's soccer.
The
compared
College
to,
Cup
say,
is fantastic to watch.
It is cool, yeah. It is cool. And we are amongst the nation's elite. And maybe I can't tell if that's a chicken or an egg thing again. Is it because we're really good at it and we're consistently out there in the College Cup and have a chance to win national titles that we now gravitate and put that higher on the list and say softball?
I think it's because soccer is kind of soccer. You know, it's like tennis is tennis, men's or women's, right?
Yeah. Track and field. I can watch either men or women and be in awe of their skill set and their ability to do what they do. It doesn't matter to me. I actually... Gosh, you know, Mike, it's interesting. Different strokes for different folks, man. I think, like, in terms of a list that would be in he's talking about prestigious. Women's soccer is popular.
Yeah.
I mean, it's done well.
We don't have it, but lacrosse is pretty prestigious as well.
Yeah, like if you are in the Virginia, North Carolina, Maryland area, I mean, if you went to Johns Hopkins, for example, that's a big damn deal. I mean, you really care deeply about that.
Well, and it's also marketed well. You know, that's a game.
It's also a really cool sport.
There are games that are on during Memorial Day weekend, typically. So there's not much competition, and the TV might find its way to turning that on. Whereas if it was, in October, nobody would know about that. Yeah. It's just in a good time of the year where we see it more often.
You know what I wish were on television more that I think I could get into and would find time to sit down and watch? I believe this. I do, because I think these guys are incredible athletes, and gals for that matter. Water polo's hard, man, and it's a cool game.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on in water polo, and some of it's brutal.
My one semester at Iona College, I was on the floor with two people. The 6th floor at the North Hall, off of North Avenue there.
Of course, North Avenue.
It was, that's Iona. The idiots on North Avenue. That's what we were called.
I'm just saying.
So
you said that like everybody knows where North Avenue is.
Oh, well, yeah.
No, you over there off North Avenue. Oh, right, North
Right,
Avenue.
of course,
yeah.
Gotcha. Wow, you guys had the good dorms. Yeah. Unlike those ones without the air conditioning on the other side of campus. It was the honors program. It was the water polo teams. And they mixed the two together in these 6 to 8 person units. I mean, it was quite the experiment. It was a reality television show.
Water polo's for real, man. That's good stuff.
They were mostly from Chicago. We just had this pipeline, apparently, to the Chicago area. And my God, they could party as hard as they could ball, an athlete, because you know the stamina it takes to be a water polo player or have seen it. Those guys are intense.
Oddly enough, you talk about the stamina it takes, the cardiovascular strength you have to have, and how it would be counterintuitive to party in the way that you're describing. But the same's true of swim teams everywhere. Just swim teams in general.
They'll burn it all off.
They're insane. I mean, I knew world-class swimmers, Olympic swimmers, friends with Olympic swimmers that are firing up heaters on a Wednesday night.
Right.
I mean, it's nuts.
Oh, buddy. Yes, so I was next door to this kid, Ed Gronkowski. I'll never forget that name because, Gronk
there you go.
became a thing after I met Ed. And Ed was one hell of an athlete. But one day, this was just a random Thursday, in his room, Feel Good Inc., right, the song, is on repeat all day long. And there's just clouds of a certain substance coming underneath the door.
And he's a swimmer.
I
don't understand it, man.
The only time he came out was to go to water polo practice at 7.
It's insane. And those guys, like, you think to yourself, just jogging around the block is pretty damn difficult. It's a little annoying. Like, you can't just jog around the block without beginning to see your heart rate raise, shortness of breath. You kind of have to start regulating how it is you take it in. I mean, that's nuts.
He watched Adult Swim every night on Cartoon Network, as you might imagine.
Can't blame him for that, though.
Right, but given his habits, too, it makes it all the better.
Yeah.
And he would order, pizza 3-4 nights a week.
Impossible.
And the dude was in perfect physical condition because he would just swim it all off.
Well, I had a friend right off of St. Augustine in the early 90s. We just before going over to watch the Knowles play basketball, obviously we'd have fun on those nights, and all were in school and all that. That guy smoked 3 packs a day, and he would jump rope for an hour straight. He would listen to Pearl Jam's 10. He'd put it on the first song through the last song. He would jump rope the entire time through the whole record. I've never seen anything like it. Ripped. He would ride his bike. He had his self-loathing going on. He would ride his bike to and from this job he had, moving furniture, right? So, like, he picked a job like moving furniture.
So he would bicycle to a job where he has no relief in sight.
That's right, where he has to move furniture. He hated himself, clearly. And then smoked. And if you happen to fall asleep at that particular townhouse and wake up the next morning and realize you had class or whatever it was, you could hear the sound of the lighter upstairs in his room as he wakes up. as the very first thing he did. He'd light it, go, gotta get to work, come down, jump on his bike, and haul ass right across town to move furniture.
Tell me he would smoke cigarettes when he was jump roping.
He didn't, but he could actually finish the entire 10 record jumping rope just nonstop. Try jumping rope for 30 seconds, let alone all of Alive. It's insane.
It's one of my favorite movie moments. It's not trying to call attention to itself. It's Major League when one of the coaches is smoking as he's throwing BP. He's just got a puff of smoke coming out.
The old black and white photos, even the color photo of Lynn Dawson in the locker room during the Chiefs Super Bowl. He's smoking. He's a quarterback. He's just sitting there smoking a cigarette. I'm surprised he didn't drink a beer.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Smoother, bolder, sharper, comfier, smarter, fiercer, tougher, stronger, longer, greater, prouder. Gravely zero-turn mowers.
Since 1945. They prefer Widden Glass because of their precise window glass replacement, masterful shower enclosures, and storefront glass. Widden Glass will take care of you to your complete satisfaction. That's been Widden's way of doing business for over 70 years. When you call Widden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best, like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Wooden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. We've done hundreds of storefronts in the Tallahassee area. That's why Wooden is known for taking care of business. Wooden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
At Advance Auto Parts, we offer you the quality parts you want and knowledge you need. And we're always looking for ways to help you save. Right now at Advance, premium oil brands like Castrol, Mobil, Valvoline, and Pennzoil are all on sale. Choose 5 quarts and an oil filter starting as low as $23.99 for your oil change. Only at Advance or participating CarQuest Auto Parts stores. Advance Auto Parts, where oil is priced like it should be. See store for details. Limit 5 oil change specials per customer. Valvoline bottles may vary by store.
Spring into savings with DeWalt and Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Buy one DeWalt 20-volt Max XR lithium-ion brushless premium hammer drill and impact driver combo kit with a 5-amp-hour battery and receive $100 off instantly. But wait, you get one of the following DeWalt Bare tools for free: a 5-inch grinder, recip saw, circular saw, or an LED spotlight. Come check out all of the new DeWalt products at Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. While you're there, check out the most powerful cordless kit on the planet, FlexFold. Cornerstone Tool and Fastener, online at ctf.nu.
Are you ready to experience an awesome fishing expedition? Sea Quarters Marina is home to several great charter services. All charters are customized based upon the types of fishing opportunities available and the type of fishing the customer requests. The Northwest Gulf Coast offers a variety of different angling adventures thanks to unspoiled back county islands and crystal clear flats. For more information regarding charters, call Sea Quarters Marina at 697-8400 or online at seaquartersmarina.com.
Driving every day from the AmeriGas studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Kevin Winter. The NFL owners' meetings continue today in Orlando, and while already this week there has been an adjustment to the wording of the catch rule, 2 big stories are unfolding today. The first, while the Giants are not shopping Odell Beckham Jr., there is an asking price. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, it is 2 first-round picks, at least. We know that OBJ wants a new contract. We know the team has been disappointed with his actions on and off the field. But again, the Giants still maintain publicly they're not shopping Odell Beckham Jr. The second bombshell that's beginning to unfold is that there is a chance kickoffs could be going away. That is according to Packers president Mark Murphy. Murphy told ESPN's Kevin Seifert that the injury rates on kickoffs remain so high, the league's competition committee is preparing a mandate. Make the play safer, or kickoffs will be recommended for elimination in the near future, not likely for 2018. Lakers guard Isaiah Thomas going to undergo hip surgery. Even with this news, according to Adrian Wojnarowski, Lakers say they're still open to a deal with the free agent.
To win in basketball, you got to play great coverage. And with Straight Talk Wireless, you know you're getting great coverage because they use the exact same 4G LTE towers as the big carriers, but for a lot less. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Refer to terms and conditions of service at straighttalk.com.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Balls Mick Wednesday. Brought to you by TNT Supercenter, 14585 U.S. Highway 19, Thomasville, Georgia. Your one-stop shop for all your outdoor entertainment.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks so much for tuning to it. Hope you're well. Happy Balls McWednesday. Reminder, tomorrow we'll be at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill for the glorious return of Major League Baseball. Opening day tomorrow at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, where you can get $2 beers, $2 hot dogs, free apple pie, and a whole heap and helping of baseball. That's a good thing. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming. Free, always. Don't miss anything. Sometimes it happens that you miss something and you think, damn it, wish I hadn't missed that. What can I do, though? I missed it. Well, then you go back and you get caught up at your leisure. All 3 hours posted upon the conclusion of the program, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. You can email the show if you like. It's jcs@979espnradio.com. Find me on Twitter at jcameronshow. Also follow at 979ESPN in order to watch the show being periscoped, for example, and on YouTube. It's ESPN Tallahassee. Florida State continuing in pads at spring football practice as we move closer and closer to the spring football game, which I very much look forward to. Should be a great time. I can't wait to see what this looks like. I do hate that they're so thin at wide receiver. Amir Rasul's been taking reps, for example, at wide receiver. They're really thin there. That's affected what they're doing. But it doesn't change what you'll see that is radically altered. Let me just say this. I'm going to give you a big blanket statement here in talking to people around the program, watching with my own eyes from what I've seen, and then comments that I've been able to get from sources that, I trust. Let's just put it that way. I don't want to get bogged down in who I'm talking to. But the point would be this. There's no question with the athletes we have and the system Willie is implementing and the staff he's put together, this includes Walt Bell, who I think very highly of, by the way, they're going to score a lot of points. They just are. This whole thing is going to come down to the defense. So this is why when you hear about a Jaden Woodby, a freshman that comes in here and is lighting folks up and has a chance to play and play right away and be special, 5-star kid that they were able to flip late and get to come here, and almost primarily because of the coaching staff that was hired. And that's huge. And we knew this, Tom, and any time you run breakneck tempo and you play the way that a lot of offenses are playing these days and that we're about to delve into, you do realize, I know you've been saying it, and certainly anybody that watches the game regularly knows, well, yeah, you're going to score points because you're going to end up facing enough teams that don't have the requisite depth or talent or athlete to hang with you. And they're going to give up a lot of points. So it is always going to come down to how well you play defense, because they're at a disadvantage when you run that many plays and you play at that speed, right? You change the way you view good defense. The kinds of the number of stops you have to get in a game, for example, in order for you to call that or classify that a good day for the defense. Point totals, for example, how many points you'd give up in a game and still call it a good day for the defense changes. And we get that. And that you can't really know until we get out there and start playing in games. And that's the only thing that's kind of frustrating. You can judge, do you have the athletes? You can judge, hey, are we able to attack? Are we doing things that are going to create turnovers? Are we going to be a fun team to watch in that regard? A lot of one-on-ones on the other side of the ball. All that stuff is playing out offensively. But really, for the defense, I think what you're going to glean here is, are they in great shape? What's the depth like? A lot of guys are going to have to play, I would think. And then are they equipped to do enough on the defensive side of the ball to win the big games against the better teams and the better athletes we face that are going to get a lot of chances because of how frequently this offense either will score or be off the field quick?
When we brought Willie on board, to me, it was always about what's the defense going to look like. Because if the offense has problems with Willie Taggart as head coach, then we have a bigger problem here. I'm going to assume he's going to fix things. I mean,
yeah, they're going to score. They're going to score.
Look at the McElwain era in Florida. I'm sure when they hired him, they said, well, at least the offense is going to be back in the Muschamp days.
It was the first thing we said in year 2 when they still weren't scoring, even though they were winning the East. I was saying to you, and I was saying on the air to Gator fans, well, I hope you're happy with the East, but by the way, your offensive guy is not much in the way of moving the ball right now. So you have to be concerned.
Yeah, he's winning with Will Muschamp's recruits. And defense, at some point, you're going to run out of those guys. And we saw the way they were recruiting. That's why they're in the crisis they are now. Mullen's going to help them, and he's going to speed up the process to getting back to decent to pretty good. But I don't know how quickly they can flip that thing back to something that's going to challenge Georgia in the East, given what Georgia's going to be in the next 2 or 3 seasons at minimum. For me, I always thought, yeah, Willie comes in, we're going to score. How does Coach Barnett fit in? What's the scheme like? And you're right. I look at the athletes, and that's why it sounds crazy because he would have been a role player. But when Jalen Wilkerson decided to go, I thought, damn it, man, You have Christmas and Marvin Wilson and Jalen Wilkerson and Kando, and that is a front four that can stop the run.
Right.
Now, they did move Wally Ame
to defensive
end. I think that's going to help fortify your front against the run if you have a run-heavy opponent. I think we have enough defensive backs, obviously, that can match up against you, and we can sub in a couple here or there if we're going against a pass-happy opponent. So I think we have the athletes at the back end and up front in the trenches to match up with an opponent. The linebacker level is most certainly going to be a question. And how many of them do we play at a given time? 2 in the scheme. This is a 4-2-5. But are we going to move a defensive back up there with only one linebacker? I mean, these are the questions. And what kind of motivator is he? How much of an X's and O's guys is he? Can he scheme up week to week? I mean, you talk to a number of people, but if I'm thinking and attributing it correctly, Brad Edwards said that the thing about what they do at Clemson is that whatever you don't do well, they will week to week show what you don't do well. Even if it is the exact opposite of what you just watched in last week's film or 2 weeks ago, Brent Venables can coach him up every single week and make a specific game plan tailored against you.
Exploit your weakness, yeah.
Actually, that was one from the anonymous coaches interviews with Athlon Sports. That's where that came from.
Yeah.
So what is he like in that situation? What does Coach Barnett do week to week? Can he match up with a Miami and a Clemson in 2 out of 3 weeks? Or are we going to be better at stopping offense X versus stopping offense Y? You can't know these things, but to me, the key to the season has always been what can you do with a defense that's going to be on the field a lot more than you typically ask a defense to be on the field, and how can you scheme it up week to week? That's just going to be impossible to know, but it's the key.
It's going to be so fun, though, man. I one thing, if we can get into the X's and O's, obviously, the further along we go, and we get a chance to watch them in these scrimmages, and we get a chance to see them play in the spring game, and then obviously when you get into the fall and actually get games going. But I think at the end of the day, if you poll the fan base, I can't tell you how many people I've talked to that either weren't boosters that now I'm not doing their job for them, but that weren't boosters that now are thinking about contributing, or people that were thinking about maybe not renewing their season tickets that are. I mean, like, I've had those conversations with people who are Noles through and through, but for whatever reason, it was starting to wane a little. The frustration was mounting. You sense that. And it's not just that you make a change at the right time or that it works out, that the change happens at the right time. Willie's done a very good job. He and his staff have done a very good job in the message that they've sent out, that they have certainly sent to their players, but also I think the fans and the community. It is one that has re-energized this fan base. That is the one thing that I'm finding is consistent across the board. Whether you were sad that Jimbo left, or you were really happy that Jimbo left, or you weren't sure what to think, everybody, almost to a man, even those staunch Jimbo supporters are like, well, you know what? This sounds like it's going well. He's younger. You can feel that. The energy's there. The players have taken to it. Listen to their conversations. Listen to the things they're saying to the press. Listen to the way you can't now, but when you're at practice, I mean, I'm telling you, that is, we said spirited, right? Now, that's often the case with regime change, if you will, but it's genuine right now. It feels like there is an air of anticipation right now that is re-energizing the base, if you will. I sound very political, but it does. It feels that way.
Yeah, well, the players are going to buy in. That's what the new car smell does, but you got to win games and you got to validate their belief. So it doesn't have to be the Virginia Tech game on a Monday night, but if you lose that one, you better win a couple that you're not supposed to, because you got to have something to hang on to so that you can prove
you sustain
to your current roster that you're recruiting every day. That's the other thing here. I mean, practice is going well. The chase went well, and I think guys are buying in, and Willie will say as much too. But, they buy in now. Well, in the fall, you got to continue to recruit them, because they didn't come here because you were their head coach, or they didn't come here because their position coach is still here at Florida State, unless Odell Hagens is that position coach. You got to prove to him it was worth it. So you're always having to prove yourself to the current roster and to the next wave of recruits. When you told them a year ago, we're building something, you got to be able to come back to them in December when they're deciding, yes, see, look at what we've done. Here is the progress, and you can be the difference.
Yeah, and recruiting's not going to be a problem with this group. I don't think so. I mean, you'd have to have a disastrous season for them to take a step back in recruiting.
Probably a 5-loss season or
you'd
worse.
have to do something that absolutely upsets the apple cart, because this group really resonates with kids. You can tell that. Almost anybody that follows recruiting, or anybody that does that for a living specifically, they'll tell you that they're hitting home runs after home runs every time they get an opportunity to talk with a young man that's considering several high-profile schools. By the way, yesterday we weren't on the air, and so we didn't get a chance to follow up on that C.J. Walker story and that C.J. Walker is transferring. That does not come as a surprise, to me, but more importantly to anybody within the program. I'm not disparaging C.J. Walker. We wish him well. Seems to be a nice enough young man, and he certainly played hard here. But, the reality of the C.J. Walker situation is that playing time was going to diminish for him. And frankly, he's a backup point guard in the ACC. He's not a starting point guard in this league. He's not good enough. And so you lose a backup guard who I think the writing was on the wall. I think he realized that he was going to get less time. Remember, you have Anthony Polite, who's going to be playing, and you're talking about a 6'6" guard in Polite. Obviously, we already return guys at the position, including a guy like Trent Forrest, who emerged as a star in the making. So you had that situation play out. Savoy comes back. He's a guard as well. Just playing time was going to go by the wayside to a certain extent. Technically, Terrence Mann is a guard. So
right. MJ Walker, of course, being a sophomore. Yeah,
exactly. So I just don't think the time was going to be there for him. And, listen, if you came here to be a starter and that's what you want to do and you think you're a starting guard at this level, at a high level, and you realize that those minutes are drying up, then certainly I encourage you to take it on down the road and try somewhere else. Frees up some space, though, for Florida State, and that, too, signals to me that there has to be something coming out down the line.
Probably, yes.
Yeah, I would think.
Yeah, numbers, right? We always got to worry about numbers.
Leonard's really good at encouraging people to seek opportunities.
I was surprised how quickly it was, but then I thought on it. Well, we did play to the second weekend of the NCAA tournament, so, time is of the essence now for a lot of programs that aren't playing, all of them but 4. But to me, that doesn't usually happen here. Unless a kid is displeased with living in Tallahassee or he's in trouble and we had to dismiss him, whatever. You don't usually see a sophomore leave for another program and a sophomore be granted his unconditional release. That's why I tend to believe what you're hinting at.
Yeah, I'm hinting at something else is coming
up. You would
up.
keep him and try to develop him all the more if you didn't think, numbers were going to become an issue for you. But at any rate, thanks for the big shots against Xavier in the second round, because those 2 threes in the first half were very important to our chances of actually making the next weekend.
Oh, yeah, I don't think he leaves on bad terms at all. Not in terms of perception from the fans and value and what he did for this team. I mean, a little spark plug, man. He was a lot of fun to watch play, and at times he really energized this team and gave them the spark they needed, but he wasn't a guy that you wanted consistently out there. He's not a guy that you thought moving forward was going to be the answer at the position. You have more talented individuals on your roster who are going to eat up the bulk of those minutes. Look, at the end of the day, if Trent Forrest didn't have a deep bone bruise to start the first half of this season, imagine how many minutes he's getting per game if he had continued to play as he was entering or coming out of camp, entering the season. I mean, if you listen to Leonard, he thought Trent Forrest was the best player or the guy that was playing the best at the time that they were getting set to start the season, and then he had the injury.
The one thing I wonder is if we knew this was coming, would we have played him all those minutes in the second half?
Well, I was a little frustrated by that anyhow.
It was a lot of minutes.
Seemed like too many minutes.
I get that MJ had a few turnovers, but he also did something that nobody else could, in the first half, and that's explode, get to the basket, and finish. It was his only basket of the night, but I would have liked to have seen him try a couple more times.
Yeah, I don't want to relive the game. Yeah, I'm with you.
There was just saying, if you knew this was coming,
weren't too many.
Maybe you invest those minutes in somebody who it'll pay off in a year or two.
Well, they're going to be good next year, man. That's a quality team, and I know that when you think about the guys, we talk about Fiondu and how good he looks and what he's going to be, and I would add to that Ike Obiagu is another guy that if we're going to talk about divvying up minutes, Tom, those minutes to the bigs, those individuals need to see more minutes than, say, some other center that you have that sees minutes at times inexplicably. I'd like to see that change, the valuing of certain other minutes for certain bigs.
The distribution of time.
Yeah, I'd like to see that shift a little bit next year, and probably will. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag Sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag Savings.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Blountstown Highway, 574-4100.
Is in hydraulic hose, fitting and adapters, supply industrial hoses and fittings, along with rubber and gasketing products for automotive farming and industrial needs. Capital Rubber sells fuel, air and water, steam, pressure wash, and discharge hose, just to name a few. Capital Rubber's friendly, knowledgeable staff offers more than 50 years of experience to assist you with all your needs. Call them today at 575-1811 or stop by today at 130 Progress Drive behind TCC.
Widden Glass takes care of Tallahassee business. Local contractors know Widden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. They prefer Widden Glass because of their precise window glass replacement, masterful shower enclosures, and storefront glass. Widden Glass will take care of you to your complete satisfaction. That's been Widden's way of doing business for over 70 years. When you call Widden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Widden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. We've done hundreds of storefronts in the Tallahassee area. That's why Widden is known for taking care of business. Widden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
Don't just listen to The Jeff Cameron Show. Watch it live. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Live weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. Head to ESPNTallahassee.com today to watch live or catch up on demand. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Brought to you by Nice Tire and Auto, your trusted Goodyear dealer.
Nice Tire and Auto, just minutes away from FSU campus.
Hey there, beer lovers. This is Gabe Grass with Grasslands Brewing Company. We've been pretty busy lately with an all-new brewing team and a maxed-out production schedule, bringing Tallahassee more beer than we ever have before. In fact, we just released a brand-new core beer called Guava Gold, a guava-infused blonde ale that's a ton of fun. But don't forget bestseller Hopline Bling IPA and local favorites G Street Blonde and Fourth Orbit Ginger Red. So make sure you ask your server at your favorite restaurant or bar for Grasslands, or visit our taproom and beer garden at 603 West Gain Street Tuesday through Sunday. We've got something going on every night of the week, from trivia to board games to live music. Plenty of free parking, so we'll see you soon, folks. Prost.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachian Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. 5. That's Games for Less.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Show 97.9 ESPN Radio. Next hour, by the way, hear an interview that me and Jimmy Dykes, college basketball analyst from ESPN College Basketball, does a great job. Well, that was redundant. But we talked to Frank Martin, head coach at South Carolina, used to be the head coach at Kansas State, and went to the Final Four a year ago as the surprise team. This year's surprise team is Loyola Chicago. By the way, Porter Moser, first-time head coach, was once fired by Illinois State. And if I'm not mistaken, if he wins this game, Tom, and they face Kansas, he'll run into the athletic director that fired him at his previous job. Wouldn't that be something? But I was looking in preparation for that broadcast this morning, and it aids our ability to look at what's left of the Final Four and the teams in it here. And by the way, you'll want to hear that interview next hour. Frank Martin was really good. I mean, I seldom go down that road of being ultra cheesy and say, well, that's the kind of guy I'd want my son to play for. But if I was going to do that, I would do that with him.
Really?
Yes. You're going to love
One interview does that.
No, multiple interviews that I've seen him in. And then I did watch the thing that they did on ESPN with him. I don't know if that was an E60 or an E whatever it was, but it was pretty awesome. That guy's story is, if you don't know it, there have been any number of articles written about him, especially in the wake of the run that he went on last year for South Carolina. But when you you see him as that imposing figure on the sideline, he looks like an intimidating cat. But that guy, he's got a healthy perspective on things. I think you'll enjoy the interview next hour. You will. It's good. It's really good. But that said, we talked to him in part because we wanted to know what that's like, what it's like, to lead a team through the tournament. Nobody has expectations that that's coming. And, one of the questions I asked him is there something you figured out along the way in the tournament or before the tournament, certain buttons to push or a recipe for success, or is that about matchups? And he goes, oh, God, you could be – it's about matchups, Jeff. You could be the greatest coach of all time and maybe never go to 2 Final Fours. If you're not at a Kansas or at a Duke or at a North Carolina, you could be a really good coach on a really good team for a really good program that consistently makes the NCAA tournament. And if you don't get the right matchups or things don't fall your way or you don't get a little bit of luck, you may never see a Final Four. So you have to appreciate it when you do it. And to that end, if you think about this, we have Loyola Chicago and Michigan facing one another. And if Michigan doesn't hit a heave against Houston, none of this is happening. They're dead to rights. That game is over. That is a disastrous defensive effort from Houston with 1.5 seconds to go. That pass should never have been uncontested. None of that should have been able to happen. And then it does. And then that shot falls and Michigan moves on. That doesn't happen. They're not here. We have a total different perspective of what we're talking about with Michigan and the kind of year they had, right? Loyola Chicago, not one but 2 buzzer beaters. Think back, even Kansas Duke. You've got Grayson Allen's shot that rolls around the rim. If that falls, Bill Self is getting ripped again for the 3rd consecutive year as a 1 seed losing in the Elite Eight.
What about the classic finish? This is more unlikely of a shot, but between Butler and Duke. Remember the half-court heave that goes off the back iron? If that goes, it's the greatest game ever played, and Butler is this story.
Still an amazing game.
Right.
Yeah.
But it would be the greatest. It would be better than the Villanova one that we saw, just a short time later where you have a 3 at the buzzer for the title.
That game was incredible. That really, in terms of quality of game, we were going through and talking about this, and you and I have done this before too, where your memories of the tournament, and there's no doubt, for as much as that I see it both ways, where I do like the cream of the crop to rise to the top when it comes to the end of the tournament because I want to see the best teams over the course of a season battle it out for a national championship. But it is true that what you remember most about the NCAA tournament throughout your years is which improbable team made the deepest run and shocked us the most. And those are your lasting memories of almost any tournament, whether it's VCU recently or Wichita State or Creighton.
Gulf Coast.
Florida Gulf. Name your team. There's always somebody that goes on a run, at least to the Sweet 16, sometimes to the Elite Eight. But now we have one that's in the Final Four. And this is seldom that you get somebody like this. I mean, think about Loyola Chicago. A lot of people thought, and they even pointed to the fact that they might be a sexy pick to knock off Miami. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
I picked
Much
them.
to the chagrin of my father when we're eating dinner in Palm Harbor, yes.
Yeah, no, I picked them because I heard a bunch of people say that. Not because I saw them play, although you could have, because they had beaten Florida earlier in the year. Loyola Chicago had.
Right after Florida had gotten beaten by us for the fourth year in a row, yes.
Yeah. So it was a situation where you could have tuned in and saw Florida still reeling from the Florida State beatdown handed to them in Gainesville and watch Loyola Chicago do it. But let's remember, at the time, we thought that loss was an ugly loss for Florida, that they allowed the loss to Florida State to beat them twice.
And who the hell did they just lose to?
Loyola Chicago. Man, you're taking away from our win. Get it together.
Yes.
Turns out that, no, it was just a bit of a primer for what Loyola Chicago could do. But look at these numbers in terms of the matchups. If you're just looking at, let's say, advanced numbers, advanced metrics, a lot of times people will point to, as a way of trying to predict the winner for this tournament and doing your brackets, if you will, defensive efficiency, adjusted efficiency, right? The teams that really defend tend to do very well, and you can count on them to be the more consistent of the teams, not to have the off night. And Michigan's a great example of this because 3 of the last 4 games, Michigan has not shot it well. I know they went nuts against Texas Tech, right?
A&M.
Texas A&M.
Yeah.
But they didn't shoot well against us, and they didn't shoot well prior to Texas A&M. They haven't been shooting well. But how have they won games? Well, they've defended their ass off. That's how. And they are Michigan 4th in adjusted defensive efficiency on the season. Kind of makes sense. They're riding and dying with that defense. Now, they're also a top 30 offensive club, but that's a little bit more fallible. They're 30th. That's them on offense. But Villanova, whom I think we would tab as the favorite to win this thing, and probably the most consistent team on the season.
Yeah, since Duke didn't make it out of the bracket, even though they weren't a 1 seed, I think you might have put even money on those 2 teams, given the one and done element of what Duke brings to the table. But you're absolutely right. At this point, it's Villanova.
Yeah, Villanova is the number 1 offense in the country. They have the 13th best adjusted defense efficiency. I can speak. So you're 1-13. That's getting it done on both sides of the ball.
You've only done a little bit of radio today.
A little bit. But Kansas is really good offensively, not as good defensively, 41st in adjusted. And then there's Loyola Chicago. And what are they, and why are they winning? Well, offensively, I've never seen a team get more layups in a game. It's every time you watch them, it's a reverse layup. Nobody uses the rim better than they do to get to the basket and avoid the block. They are as classic as you would describe any number of teams that you think are less talented than some others and overcoming that. And they are nearly 60th in offensive adjusted efficiency. But there they sit in the top 20 defensively. They play defense. So the commonality here for the most part is these teams that consistently play great defense. And what allowed for Florida State's run? The group that suddenly became really good on the defensive end of the floor. In fact, so much so that if you tell me before the Michigan game that we're going to have exactly 0 fast break points, that we're not going to shoot it well, that we're going to be bogged down in the half court, and that Michigan's defense is going to rule the day, that I'm going to tell you we get blown out. We get beaten like a drum. It's not close. It's an embarrassing game. It's 20 points for 5 minutes to play, and you can shut it off and go home. But we played great defense, and hung in there. So having said all of that, I guess as we build up, I am going to take Villanova to win the whole thing. But I would also tell you, it would not be at this point stunning to see Loyola Chicago get to the finals.
I would take Villanova first, and then I would look at Michigan, because I think even if the positions were flipped between Michigan and Kansas, I would still look at Michigan as a team that has the right stuff right now. They
playing great.
The air of invincibility and winning games different ways, and they can shoot the lights out from three at any moment. Now, of course, that's like pulling a little bit of the slot machine lever, but I mean, you look at the looks they generated against us. They had a lot of open looks that they missed, and if they hit, even a decent percentage of their threes, then maybe the result is what you're talking about. I thought that was a hidden element in the game, especially in the first half. They got a lot of open looks.
But
they couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. That happens in the tournament. You tighten up a little bit, and I got you. They're college athletes, but they have the potential to be lethal from distance, and their offense gets them the looks that they want.
Yeah, it's just it does say once again though that okay, if they don't have a miracle against Houston, and then we name all the other things that have to happen, they're not there despite how well they were playing. Despite all of this, you need a little bit of luck to go your way. You know what's weird? Well, we're kind of expounding further on the end of Florida State's run and what remains for the NCAA tournament with the Final Four coming up. Florida State had an improbable comeback against Xavier, given that they were down 12. But that was a dominating 18-4 run that ended it. It wasn't a flukish inbounds pass, turn, heave three that falls for you to stay alive in the tournament. They went and took it. And the other two games, they dominated. Oddly, as you look at the teams that get to the Elite Eight, now we're in the Final Four, obviously, it's interesting that, two of those teams, or at the time, four of those teams, really needed kind of a miracle finish, got a little lucky.
They did, but also, I don't think it's crazy to grade Michigan's win over us as really impressive.
Oh,
given what we became, given the monster we became in the moment.
Stat from that game, I found out all these little things in looking at Michigan because we had to talk about them today. And you look at Michigan and you say, well, what do they do well? Well, I already knew because of our mutual friend's scouting report about what they do well and getting back and playing defense. That's why they don't offensive rebound all that well. They don't care to.
They still did on this night because of some wild three-pointer rebounds. That's what happens when you miss threes. But, yeah, for the most part, if they know you're in transition, they're going to neutralize that by saying, screw it. We're one and done. We're going to get the look we want, and if we don't hit it, we don't hit it.
Michigan held teams in the 60s or less 28 times on the season, and here's that defensive effort against Florida State. You talk about how impressive it was. This is something that look, we shot 31% for the game. Not good, but if you look at this, Florida State had five for the game uncontested field goal attempts. 5. That is tied for the fewest attempts by any team uncontested in an NCAA tournament game since 2010. So anything we made, we had to make with somebody in our face at
X's
all
and
times.
O's. X's and O's. We're operating at a deficit.
That is so impressive that was a 4-point game. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Why does Mahindra have 97% satisfaction? Ask our owners.
This gives me the ability to do what I want to do when I want to do it.
I decided on Mahindra just because of the sheer strength, the size, the ease of the workability, and it was more of a comfortable machine than the others.
You could lift just about anything with that thing. It has never let me down.
And now get the industry's best 7-year limited powertrain warranty on select models.
TNT.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
There's nothing like what you really want. Well, guess what? Kraft Nissan's New For You program is an absolute game changer. We don't need your tax return. We don't need to see your W-2. And absolutely the best of all, we will not sell you an overpriced used car. And that is exactly why at Kraft Nissan, we call it the New For You program. We will plug your information into our system, which approves 4 out of 5 people with damage credit. And at the end of the day, you will drive away in a brand new Nissan, with or without a tax refund. You know the deal. Recently divorced? No problem. Recent bankruptcy? No problem. Credit score under 600? No problem. And it's not tied to taxes. Come see how easy it is for you to drive away in a new Kraft Nissan. And remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag in your car, you paid too much. Way too much. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
Hi, honey. How was your day?
It was fine. Pretty uneventful. How about you?
Well, I called the auditors this afternoon and made an appointment for one to come out to the house.
Wait, what? Have you lost your mind? Auditors? Why would you call them? Now we have to find our tax returns, paycheck stubs, and financial records, not to mention all those forms. Good grief.
Relax, honey. It's not that kind of auditor.
It's not?
No. I called the City of Tallahassee Utilities and scheduled a free energy audit.
Energy audit?
Right. It's when an energy auditor from our own utilities comes out to the house, examines the structure, and checks our energy and water systems, and then recommends changes we might make to save energy, water, and money.
And you said it's free?
Absolutely. It's free from the City of Tallahassee Utilities, our own utilities.
Sounds good to me. Let's save some money.
If you're a City of Tallahassee residential, electric, and natural gas customer, you can schedule a free energy audit. Call 891-4YOU. That's 891-4968. And schedule your free energy audit at a time most convenient for you. A message from the City of Tallahassee Utilities, your own utilities.
If you're a pro, you don't buy a little of this or that. You buy a lot of this or that. And at the Home Depot, you save even more. Save up to 15% in bulk discounts on select pro-grade products from top brands like 3M, Loctite, and Liquid Nails. As a pro, you work hard for your money. You shouldn't have to work hard to save it. Up to 15% in bulk discounts on select pro-grade products. Only at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. See store for details.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Kevin Winter. The NFL owners' meetings continue today in Orlando, and while already this week there has been an adjustment to the wording of the catch rule, 2 big stories are unfolding today. The first, while the Giants are not shopping Odell Beckham Jr., there is an asking price. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, it is 2 first-round picks, at least. We know that OBJ wants a new contract. We know the team has been disappointed with his actions on and off the field. But again, the Giants still maintain publicly they're not shopping Odell Beckham Jr. The second bombshell that's beginning to unfold is that there is a chance kickoffs could be going away. That is according to Packers president Mark Murphy. Murphy told ESPN's Kevin Seifert that the injury rates on kickoffs remain so high, the league's competition committee is preparing a mandate. Make the play safer, or kickoffs will be recommended for elimination in the near future, not likely for 2018. Lakers guard Isaiah Thomas going to undergo hip surgery. Even with this news, according to Adrian Wojnarowski, Lakers say they're still open to a deal with the free agent.
To win in basketball, you got to play great coverage. And with Straight Talk Wireless, you know you're getting great coverage because they use the exact same 4G LTE towers as the big carriers, but for a lot less. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Refer to terms and conditions of service at straighttalk.com.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Balls Mick Wednesday. Brought to you by TNT Supercenter, 14585 U.S. Highway 19, Thomasville, Georgia. Your one-stop shop for all your outdoor entertainment.
I always crack up this week, the week before the Masters gets going, that they play out in Houston. The field's not terrible for being when it is.
Yeah, Phil and Spieth, right?
Yeah, they're both playing.
Phil doesn't mind playing the week before.
No, he likes it, actually.
When he won his most recent major, the Open Championship, a few years back, he did play the Scottish Open the week before, and he won it.
Yeah, he won it. That is crazy, right? He just carried it over. I always feel like, oh, well, you're not going to win 2 tournaments in a row. I mean, well, that's crazy. But people do. Speaking of that tournament, that's actually Kuchar plays in this one. There's some decent names out there. You mentioned Spieth. He'll play. Man, how far he has fallen when it comes to putting. You talk about it getting in your head. That guy couldn't miss a putt forever. By the way, Daniel Berger is playing in this tournament as well. Ricky Fowler is playing in this tournament.
Of course he is.
A lot of guys playing in this tournament. But I think I saw birdie average, which is a very telling stat on the PGA Tour in terms of translating to wins, that Spieth has fallen outside the top 40 in birdie average per round. That's amazing.
There is something to it, though, that, Augusta, the grounds, the way the course sets up, the fact that you play it every year, you can draw on past experiences and tree for a week. I mean, people do it all the time who are, you would think, unfit to compete for a major. Somehow they do at Augusta, even if it is for 2 or 3 rounds. But if Jordan could just find it, and I'm not wishing for this, I'm just saying, if Friday evening he's sleeping on, a couple of rounds where he's 3-4 shots back of the lead, I mean, everything would change. The narrative would change about him in a heartbeat, and you would be right to change it, because if he ever puts it together, well, he's a dangerous man.
Well, when he did have an incredible year, and he was a very dangerous man. And it's just, you're right, there are guys who get good feelings and good vibes when they're at Augusta. But I also think if you're not putting well when you go to Augusta, those are tough greens to start to feel better about.
He should call Brad Faxon, because apparently Rory's A-OK now.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see, right? I mean, those are the greens that if every other part of your game is a little off prior to going to Augusta, but you're really putting it well, yeah, I'll buy that you're going to compete, but man.
At the risk of sounding like a golf nerd, and it's probably too late at this point since we've gone a couple minutes here, the greens for Bay Hill for Arnold Palmer Invitational were lightning fast. I think at least from a speed standpoint, players were prepared by playing in Orlando. They're not usually that fast down there. They were, the run out on them,
it was crazy,
stupid.
Right?
3-4 feet.
I was looking at another number today, and I hope all of you took Big Daddy J's advice on the eve of the start of the Major League Baseball season, of which, by the way, again, reminder, we will be at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill and enjoying opening day baseball. Hot damn, Big Daddy's done it again. Big Daddy has not been stepping up to the table lately to parse the wagers. I got to get back in the flow here. I kind of took a step back. So many weird things happening at the end of the NHL season, at the end of the NBA season, that the level of inconsistency that's there, it makes me a little sheepish, Tom. A little sheepish. Big Daddy's not just in the habit of throwing away money.
Bet on St. Louis right now against the spread. That would be my thing.
St. Louis.
St. Louis.
Against the spread.
They are, it might be a goal and a half, and they might win 3-1, but they are
feeling it.
Yeah, they're putting it together at the right time.
Well, we are not.
Correct. If my mic would be on.
It's unsettling. We have time to get right.
We do, and whoever the first-round opponent will be, it won't be Boston. That's impossible. So that's the good news, but still, it looks like they don't care to win a division. So,
Okay. Let's nobody panic here. It'll be all right. They'll care. They're going to care.
I don't get sucked into these little narratives day to day like the newspapers would down there especially. But, if you have a listless effort against Arizona and they take it to you and that's the worst team in hockey, there's really nothing you can defend there.
The Yankees, this was where I was going with the return of Major League Baseball, led Major League Baseball, by the way, with 241 home runs last season. Now, let's throw Giancarlo Stanton into the mix, who was acquired by the Yankees in the offseason. The conspiracy is in play, certainly, that Derek Jeter gets involved in the group that takes over the Marlins, and magically Stanton ends up in New York for nothing. That'll hurt your feelings a little bit if you're a Marlins fan. Well, he led all players, by the way, with 59 home runs. And now he's playing in that little league park known as Yankee Stadium. An embarrassment and eyesore to all of baseball. This will be the second time ever that the team that led the majors in home runs added the player who led Major League Baseball himself in home runs the previous season. The only other time it happened, do you know, Tom?
No, I don't.
Was for the 1920 season when the Yankees, 45 home runs in 1919, 45 for the team, acquired Babe Ruth, who had 29 home runs in 1919 by himself for the then Boston Red Sox prior to the 1920 season.
Glad I didn't feign a guess there, because I would have said something stupid. But you have to go way back 100 years now. And that's going on 100 years.
Oh, it's 1 year shy of 100 years. That is remarkable. That we actually have footage of Babe Ruth hitting home runs at all is pretty remarkable when you consider it's that far back. Judge and Stanton obviously are the fourth reigning AL and NL home run champs to play on the same team the following season. I shouldn't say obviously, but they're the focal point is what I meant to say, obviously. You have Stanton with 59, Aaron Judge with 52. They ranked 1-2 in Major League Baseball in home runs and combined for 111. The record for the most combined home runs hit by teammates in a single season is 115. That was Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle. 61 and 54 and 1961. Maris and Mantle are the only teammates to hit 50 home runs or more in the same season. So I said before the year that would be the fun over-under. Big Daddy J couldn't wait to jump on board with this one, and I tell you now, you still got a chance to do it. Take the under on 100 home runs between Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton. I think Giancarlo Stanton has played a total of one season in his major league career without getting hurt significantly.
We have audio from the future if you make that wager.
Hot damn, Big Daddy's done it again. Well, you should make that wager, kids. Take the under on the absurd 100 total because the big guys, they get hurt. Now, I'll grant you, I am a little worried if that were a real ballpark, I would feel much more comfortable. You can accidentally hit with any decent amount of strength, of which those two have excessive amounts of strength, probably an extra 7 to 8 home runs minimum just by pop-ups that happen to leave the yard to begin with.
If you want to get nervous about that bet, just look at the division, too. You got Fenway, and both of those guys can leave to right field if they want to, and they can hit it over the Monster, and the Monster could be almost twice as high. Camden Yards, bandbox, and Toronto, bandbox. The ball flies out of Toronto to all fields.
Yeah, it's remarkable how small when you're at Camden. I've been to 1 million games at Camden, and I've sat out in that outfield and saw balls leave the bat that I thought that'd be caught really way before the warning track. Oh, it's gone.
Right, so now you're talking about 100 out of the 162 games are played at bandboxes, and that's, to say nothing of when they actually visit other ones like Houston, or maybe they play Cincinnati this year. Who knows? Or they played down in Texas, and it's the dead of summer. So,
jinx.
Yeah, at least 100 games where they're playing in bandboxes. If they stay healthy, I would be one to consider the over if they were lefty-righty. But because they're both the same person, I would think when you get to the later innings, you have one specialist to take care of both players.
Yeah. I'm just telling you, there's going to be an injury to one of those two players, and they're going to miss significant time. And in the case of Aaron Judge, I'm very curious to see the year that he has. I mean, we remember the second half of that season, and I understand he came out of it, but that was a prolonged slump that the league had, I guess, revealed. We got you. We figured some things here.
Yes, he would need the protection in the lineup more than Stanton would. There's no doubt about that.
And then Stanton needs to find whatever remedy there is to keep one healthy in general, just for a season, like once, ever, and not miss a ton of games.
Andy Pettitte has the answer, right?
Other all-time duos, by the way. Some old members of our audience will go, Cameron, I saw hammering Hank Greenberg and Ralph Kiner. Yeah, Pittsburgh Pirates. Joe DiMaggio, Johnny Mize for the Yankees. Dick Allen, Mike Schmidt for the Phillies. The famed Dick Allen, Mike Schmidt, 1975 Phillies team, Tom. Not to be mistaken with the 76 squad.
Oh, of course not.
Yeah, no.
Who would do that?
No, well, neophytes. But there you go. There are your all-time greats. Giancarlo Stanton traded from Miami to New York. Greg Vaughn, lest we forget, seasons after hitting 50 home runs, or more than 45 home runs, actually. It's pretty interesting. Greg Vaughn in 1998. I'd forgotten about freaking Greg Vaughn. Went from San Diego to Cincinnati. Ken Griffey Jr. in 1999 going from Seattle to Cincinnati. And A-Rod in the greatest trade of all time for Texas to rid themselves of that astronomical salary going to the Yankees after he hit 47 home runs.
I ask this question all the time, every year I feel like. What was the name of the baseball game where you had the circle and then you had the arrow and you flip the arrow around
you spun it, you did the
spin
thing.
it and it lands on
One of the
single, double,
I don't remember, but I know the game.
Well, for Stanton or for Judge, it would be 50% home run, 50% strikeout. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's just
Yeah,
what would the pie charts look like for today's players, for the Mark Reynolds of the world?
The all or nothing guys.
Adam
right?
Dunn, it would say, it'd be like 25% home run, 30% walk, and then the rest would be a strikeout or a single.
It's interesting. I always like checking the Westgate because I have a gambling problem. So I look at the Westgate very early in the morning to check just what they have to say about anything because I love the Westgate. And the Westgate says this. Giancarlo Stanton is 3-1 odds to win the home run title this year. Aaron Judge, his teammate, is 7-1 odds, next closest. Can you think who third is?
In all of baseball. It's a terrible guess. Joey Bats.
Mike Trout at 10-1.
You don't categorize him as that type, but sure.
But he does, and when he's healthy, he hits a ton of them. And Cody Bellinger, by the way, is 12-1, is fourth on the list. I would not have come up with Cody Bellinger there.
Over Bryce Harper? Okay.
You got your dig in. You got I was waiting on a Bryce.
Spring training dig.
He's coming out of spring feeling good. I got a Bryce Harper dig. I was waiting on it. This is good. Frank Martin interview that we did early this morning will play next hour. You should hear it. Plus, just riveting content as always in the 5 o'clock hour. We're gonna continue momentarily. Hang in.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
TNT Supercenter is your one-stop shop for the largest inventory of golf carts and accessories, stocking over 150 new and pre-owned carts with prices starting under $2,000. Whether you're looking for a standard or custom golf cart, TNT has the perfect cart for you. TNT carries and services leading brands and a full line of premium Mad Jacks accessories. Stop by or call to find out about our zero-down, low-interest rate financing, free delivery, and rental programs. Visit TNTSupercenter.com.
TNT. I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Hear me, Tallahassee? Over 150 carts in stock with free delivery and huge discounts on accessories. Only at TNT Supercenter, US 19 South, next to the Dairy Queen in Thomasville. View inventory and pricing at TNTSupercenter.com.
TNT.
Widden Glass takes care of Tallahassee business. Local contractors know Widden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. They prefer Widden Glass because of their precise window glass replacement, masterful shower enclosures, and storefront glass. Widden Glass will take care of you to your complete satisfaction. That's been Widden's way of doing business for over 70 years. When you call Widden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Widden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. We've done hundreds of storefronts in the Tallahassee area. That's why Widden is known for taking care of business. Widden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool. You can put him to the test.
Turn up the savings and be comfortable this spring when you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Get $1,200 in cool cash rebates when you purchase a select Carrier system and get up to 60 months no interest on all purchases. Learn more at BaranoAC.com.
Barano Heating and Air Conditioning.
Florida license CAC 057652.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's opponents on Man vs. Train. At the crossing, we have Rick, a 175-pound frustrated man who's running late for work. And on the tracks, we have Bull, a million-pound freight train that takes a mile to stop. Let's see who comes out on top.
You can't beat a train, so don't try. Stop. Trains can't. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
AmeriGas Propane would like to take this time to thank their valued customers for their business. At AmeriGas, serving their customers in a safe and responsible manner is their top priority. They're proud to be a part of the local community and participate in the many activities that support local charities and organizations that improve the neighborhoods where we all work, live, and play. For your propane needs, call on AmeriGas Propane. Call 877-1122.
If you're a pro, you don't buy a little of this or that. You buy a lot of this or that. And at the Home Depot, you save even more. Save up to 15% in bulk discounts on select pro-grade products from top brands like 3M, Loctite, and Liquid Nails. As a pro, you work hard for your money. You shouldn't have to work hard to save it. Up to 15% in bulk discounts on select pro-grade products. Only at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. See store for details.
Driving every day from the AmeriGas studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Kevin Winter. The NFL owners' meetings continue today in Orlando, and while already this week there has been an adjustment to the wording of the catch rule, two big stories are unfolding today. The first, while the Giants are not shopping Odell Beckham Jr., there is an asking price. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, it is 2 first-round picks, at least. We know that OBJ wants a new contract. We know the team has been disappointed with his actions on and off the field. But again, the Giants still maintain publicly they're not shopping Odell Beckham Jr. The second bombshell that's beginning to unfold is that there is a chance kickoffs could be going away. That is according to Packers president Mark Murphy. Murphy told ESPN's Kevin Seifert that the injury rates on kickoffs remain so high, the league's competition committee is preparing a mandate. Make the play safer or kickoffs will be recommended for elimination in the near future, not likely for 2018. Lakers guard Isaiah Thomas going to undergo hip surgery. Even with this news, according to Adrian Wojnarowski, Lakers say they're still open to a deal with the free agent.
To win in basketball, you got to play great coverage. And with Straight Talk Wireless, you know you're getting great coverage because they use the exact same 4G LTE towers as the big carriers, but for a lot less. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Refer to terms and conditions of service at straighttalk.com.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Balls Mick Wednesday. Brought to you by TNT Supercenter, 14585 U.S. Highway 19, Thomasville, Georgia. Your one-stop shop for all your outdoor entertainment.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today, and a fine Bowls McWednesday to you and yours. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss anything. Sometimes you miss things, and when that happens, you got to get caught up. So we got you covered all 3 hours posted upon the conclusion of the program, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. Go there, find it, listen in. You can email the show if you like. It's jcs@979espnradio.com. Keep that coming. Always appreciate some of that works as fodder. Some of it is just good feedback. On Twitter, if you follow at 979 ESPN Radio, you can see the show being periscoped. And if you want, you can follow me at Jay Cameron Show. Also, I would note that the YouTube feed is up and running well today, too. So you can watch there, ESPN Tallahassee on YouTube. And finally, WTSM. That's an app you can download for either your iPhone or your Android. People still using Androids?
Yeah, I think so.
I think they're pretty much on the verge of extinction. I think Apple's one.
I suppose.
I think so.
I don't know. Samsung phones and LG phones are doing pretty fine.
I know. Just there are people who are so particular about their phones that I like to do that just to rile them up a little bit.
Yeah. People really do entrench themselves on either side of the argument, don't they?
Yeah, they do. So anyhow, it doesn't matter if you have an Android or an iPhone. The app that we have for you is free, and it works for both. WTSM.
I do say to people, welcome to Team iPhone when I can, blue message them rather than the green message. Yeah. But that's just because I can use the blue message.
Because you can, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm getting excited about? Because we're all just gearing up for the spring game, and every day you kind of hold your breath. You listen to Willie, and you wait for practice updates. And, when you're out there, you're just – nobody get hurt. Let's everybody – that's what spring always is, by the way, even with a new staff. I've discovered that. Like, normally with a new staff, you think, well, there's a lot to learn about how they're operating, the way they talk to players, what they're trying to foster. You engender a certain mentality and all this other – and that lasted for about 4 days. And then I went, nobody get hurt. Nobody get hurt. We don't need anybody getting hurt. And so I crack up and I laugh when I hear about the young guys out there getting after it, looking to make an impression. Amari Gaynor is out there sticking folks, but Jaden Woodby, they can't stop talking about him. And we're just steady recruiting studs. And think about how last second that was. This kid's 6'3", nearly 220. And when you look at him, it reminds me, Tom, very much of the way that we looked at Derwin James when he came in here, the way that we looked at Jalen Ramsey when he came in here, just talking about members of the secondary, that you looked at their body type, because a lot of times you look at guys and you say, well, he's athletic enough, but not thick enough. The wear and tear of a college football season is going to get him.
See Stanford Samuels last year in the spring game.
Yeah.
There's a lot of athleticism to him. There was a lot to like about him, but he was lanky.
Yeah, and you thought, God, got to put on some weight there.
Wasn't fully formed.
Still had a good year.
He did. Well, and he's got a nasty edge, and he finally grew more comfortable to be himself on the field, I think, towards the end of the season. But still, he very much looked the part of a freshman versus where Jalen was on the roster. And who's that linebacker?
Yeah, that dude.
He needs to put on some weight. No, that's a corner. Oh, well, he doesn't need to put on any weight at all.
No. And then he was nasty to boot, and it sounds like Woodby's nasty to boot, so that's what I like to hear about. We'll hear from Willie Taggart in a second on the subject of music. Got to give Aslan credit for going out there and putting together this little piece we're going to run for you of Jimbo Fisher commenting. Well, hell, we'll do it right now. Why don't you just do it? This is Jimbo Fisher commenting on no music at practice and Willie Taggart.
What about no music at practice? Guys at Florida State ever ask you, like, let's pipe music in? Because some coaches do that.
Yeah, they do, but how the heck you hear when they coach? When you coach them? I'm trying to coach them at the same time. They can listen to the song, and they're going to listen to me.
Coach, with the music going on in the background, does it ever get in the way of you communicating with the players and instructing them? Is it maybe too loud at times? Or?
No, if it was, we wouldn't have it up that loud. It's pretty simple. We're playing games on Saturday. It's never quiet in a stadium.
Good job, Aslan, from warchant.com.
Yeah, wake up War Chant, 6 a.m. weekdays right here. Aslan Hajavandi and Corey Clark.
Yeah, that's funny to listen to juxtapose those two views on things. Weird to hear Jimbo's voice this time of year. It just is. We always do, just different setting, awfully odd, and as I remember it, incomplete sentences.
Yeah, it's like going back to high school, and you drop by and you hear the teacher giving a lecture, and you're like, well, that's not for me anymore. That lecture's for somebody else.
Somebody else can take that in, and hopefully they'll glean something from it. Florida State lost last night in baseball. You knew that because they were scheduled to play the University of Florida, and therefore this was a foregone conclusion. So that part of it didn't shock you. The part about always losing to Florida, I'm sure, is bothering you. It's bothering me. I said that last time we lost to Florida, which was the last time we played them. We'll get a chance to lose to them again, though, one more time right here in Tallahassee. If you've missed the first 2 losses, you get a loss coming here real soon right here in Tallahassee. So just hang in there, bide your time. Florida State will go out and win a bunch of meaningful games, as they already have. And they'll play well, and they'll look good. They'll knock off more ranked teams. They'll probably beat Louisville this weekend, and that'll be a good thing. Well, starting tomorrow, they'll beat Louisville. That'll be fun because they're playing Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
That's correct, yes.
And they'll go on to make you feel very good about where the season's moving. And just when you really probably get to that place where you feel really good, we'll play Florida, and we'll get beat again because that's what happens. That's how that goes. That's the way that is forevermore, apparently. I feel, I do. I feel really, really bad for Carp. And I get baseball's a funny game, and you can do a lot of things right. Like, this isn't one of those games where you come in here, fire and brimstone, and you beat the table as you make your points. Those are the games, when I do that, it's when Florida's making all the plays defensively and we can't pick up the baseball. When Florida is getting great pitching, depth of pitching, and we don't. When Florida's running the bases properly and we don't. That's when I come in and go, good God, man, what are we doing around here? But you can't do that today other than if you're just fed up with losing to Florida. And I am. But, you give up 4 hits and 1 run. You commit no errors. You play great. And you lose 1-0. And you go, F baseball, man. It's just that. It stings. I'm not going to deny you that. The pain is real. I think the hardest part, you and I talked about this off the air, and we talked about it earlier in the show, at the start of the show. Florida State is in this is a unique position because, I'm accustomed to the email that comes in when we lose Florida. Well, until we fire Martin, we're not going to beat Florida. Get the hell out of here. That's ridiculous. But it's also fair to say that Florida's program is better than Florida State's program currently. And for 100 years, you couldn't say that about baseball, and that sucks. But here's the other problem with the statement is that it ignores the other half of the point that you're making, which is that Florida's baseball program is better than Florida State's baseball program currently. It's also better than every other baseball program in the country.
Which is where our goal is to be.
That's right. Our goal is to be the best baseball team in the country. And we're currently not. And it looks like they are. But when your chief rival takes on the role of best, it's obviously a lot tougher a pill to swallow. If I come in here and I tell you we're not the best baseball program in the country and that's our stated goal, and until we get there, we just can't rest. It's a shame to have to watch programs like Oregon State dominate the game this way. You don't care. You drive on down the road, you get your shake and you move on and you go to the games this weekend and you're not all that angry. When it's Florida, it changes everything. And that's a reality too. It is. And they have to live with that. And it sucks. But that is, I think, the overriding truth behind the frustration is that baseball is filled with weird streaks. If you look at it, Sullivan's record against Florida State's not great. I think he's 6 or 7 games over 500 now. That's in the midst of all of these wins in a row.
12 out of 13, 13 out of 14, whatever it is they've done. Yeah.
So after all of that, he's like 23-16 or 22-16 versus Florida State. So, that's not obscene, right? Those kinds of stretches have gone back and forth in the rivalry for eons. But the reality is, when the best baseball program in America is your chief rival, you don't take it sitting down. But even when you pitch great, and it's the second time it's happened to him.
Yeah, and you needed to walk off with Quincy, right, to get that win most recently. That was the bat flip win.
Good thing he did that.
That was here in Tallahassee.
Thank God he bat flipped that.
Yeah, right. Well,
we
didn't realize what a catharsis it would be.
We didn't know it. Maybe the last time we ever beat him.
Listen, man, I just set the dial to. They're probably going to beat us. And that doesn't mean much until you get to maybe a super regional, at which point I don't
then it means a lot.
losing to them consecutive years down in Gainesville or anything like that. I'm not all about that. But in the regular season, if they beat us a bunch on Tuesdays, do what you got to do otherwise, and hopefully we turn it around at some point. But I don't go into that game ready to beat my head against the wall. They're just better than we are right now. So they got to do what they got to do to change that. I think we have some pieces to work with.
Well, yeah, you got to continue to recruit good pitching.
Yeah.
You just did, so that helps.
Right. Yeah, I think there's improvement there. You got to see the ball go through the hoop, all that stuff. But I'm not sitting here angry because I'm used to it. So there's an apathy in there. They're just better than we are, and they're just beating us at this time. It's going to change. That's what happens in rivalries. And it's not like we were last year at this point in the season, especially where we're in the midst of playing 500 baseball.
It's important to note that last year's team, at one point, you felt like not only is Florida better than us, they're a lot better than us, and oh my God, we're sliding. But then they turn around and win as much as they do and finish. That's the thing I say to these people that are jumping off the ledge. I go, well, no, wait a minute now. Let's not get crazy in overstatements here. Yes, Florida right now is a better program in baseball than Florida State. That sucks. Yeah, I agree with you. It does. I don't like it. We finished 6th in the country last year and went to the College World Series. It's not falling off a cliff is my point. It isn't like the end of the Bowden era where you're going, man, Florida's a better football program than we are right now. So is Wake. It's not that way.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not howling at the moon either because I get it. These games kind of mean something, and the rivalries, but you talk about it all the time, and we don't have to go through it, but it's not a continuous series. These are just one-offs, so you're kind of facing the same group over and over, pitching staff, all that stuff. Whatever, Now, if that's an insult to the program that I'm whatever about it, well, that's where we are. I'm just not going to lose my mind and howl at the moon because we lost to Florida again.
Well, no,
I'm used to it.
But you also wouldn't, in any situation that involved a one-off in a midweek game. I mean, you just wouldn't. I mean, no matter how it happens.
Yeah.
I mean, you could lose to, I don't know, the 100th rated RPI team in the country 10-0 on a Tuesday. And that would be something that a lot of people would be furious about, but ought not be on these one-offs.
Sure, but between that and the super regional losses to Florida, even when we do get an all-time performance from Drew Carlton years ago, and we still lose that series, at some point I go from really angry to... Well, until further notice. Until further notice. Get it together. I mean, I'm not gonna lose my mind because at some point it just becomes bad for your health and there's no productivity from it.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
TNT.
Landowners, your Mahindra dealer is ready to help you save during Mahindra's Red Tag Sale. Enjoy up to $7,900 in tractor cash back and savings, or utility vehicle savings up to $1,700. Plus, Mahindra's industry-leading warranties still come standard. So hurry in for Mahindra's Red Tag Savings.
TNT.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
The first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. March is here. That means another fiscal year end for Nissan Corporate. And while the other dealers' year ended in December, Nissan's is March 31st. And that means only Kraft Nissan has December savings in March. Seriously, factory has given Kraft Nissan a very aggressive number. I mean, big number to hit by month's end. Most dealers would not even try to hit that number because there's an all or nothing cash reward. But based on setting all-time records 3 years in a row, I'm betting Kraft Nissan will set another all-time record. And to do so, I'm drastically lowering prices and passing that cash reward onto you. So if you thought you missed year-end savings, you haven't missed Nissans. Plus, all new Nissans come with Kraft Nissan's exclusive free lifetime warranty. And this month, free maintenance for 2 years or 20,000 miles. Altimas, Maximas, and Rogues have savings up to $6,000. Titans have 0% for 72 months. Available no money down and no payments until June. At Kraft Nissan, our prices and discounts cannot be beat because we share our fiscal year-end bonus with you. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Financing through NMAC with approved credit.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachian Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Privilege today, this morning, I should say, of hosting on ESPNU Sirius XM. And I did so with a co-host, Jimmy Dykes. You hear Jimmy Dykes, guys, all the time. He does great work for ESPN as their college basketball analyst. A lot of fun to talk with and talk to. But we had a good guest this morning, and given that we are moving ever closer to the Final Four, and it's a good Final Four, there's no getting around that, is that you have, I mean, the sting of our loss is beginning to fade now to where I feel like I can do this, where we can pay attention to a major sporting event and speak about it impassioned as we're, just fans of the event itself. But you do get, and I think it's important here, you get the Cinderella that everybody loves. You like one to get this far, and you got one in a big-time way in Loyola Chicago, I should say, and Porter Moser. And he's a first-time head coach, and that's the story here, is that you have a first-time head coach taking that school. It's not shocking that a Missouri Valley team has had success in the tournament because that's happened a lot in the last 5 years. But it is shocking that they're in the Final Four. So you have them, then you have Michigan, who's been a great team all year long out of the Big Ten, whom we've watched, and Beeline is always well-respected. Villanova and Kansas, two powerhouse programs. Nobody's shocked that Villanova's there. Nobody's real shocked. Although this has been a good year for Bill Self because that Kansas team had a lot of problems with the roster. They had a kid who they thought they were going to be relying on, not be able to play, went over to Europe. So they had a lot of interesting things. A good year for Bill Self. So you have the nice mix of power and the upstart, and a lot of fun, a lot of, I think, games that Vegas thinks are going to be very, very close, which is all you can ask for.
Well, yeah, and you throw Michigan in the mix because they're the team that got hot at the right time. That's the other thing. Sometimes the talking point is about the favorites, and the cream will always rise to the top. There's a talking point about who's playing the best basketball at the right time.
Yeah.
Even though Michigan's upper end it is, right there with the best in the country. It wasn't until the end of the season that people said, oh, it looks like they got it together just in time.
In freaking time, right? Yeah, it's true. Well, Frank Martin last year was and is currently still the head coach at South Carolina, and we remember his story. You guys probably saw the E60 story. The guy nearly died, but he's just a cool cat. We discovered him with Kansas State, and he's an interesting guy. Coached high school basketball forever, is really passionate, and kind of just really earned his way up the ladder to where he gained some notoriety. Well, last year, South Carolina was that team that everybody went, what? What is South Carolina doing? And they knocked off Florida to get to the Final Four. You'll remember that the end of that game was dramatic. And then they had to face Gonzaga, who knocked them off. But this morning on ESPNU, I had a chance to talk with him, me and Jimmy Dykes, and I thought the interview went really well. I wanted you to hear it. His insight and really his perspective on what it means to make a run like that and in the attempt to appreciate it while it's happening. while you're being pulled in a million different directions, I thought was fascinating. So here's an interview from this morning from ESPNU First Take, Sirius XM show I did with Jimmy Dykes, but this is Frank Martin. That's mainly what I wanted to bring you, our interview with him, the head coach at South Carolina, about being Cinderella and advice he'd give Porter Moser, whom he has spoken to as they get set to play their Final Four game. Coach, thank you so much for joining Jimmy and I to talk about that in this tournament. It's I hope you're having a great morning.
Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm actually hanging out with my daughter here on her way to school, and I'm just happy I slept in my own bed last night because season ends. You think you get to relax. Dude, I didn't know where I lived at for a week there, so it's all good.
Coach, what was that moment like? I don't know if you could hear the highlight there, but that moment when you realize you're going to the Final Four.
Yeah, it's. I look back at like the game against University of Florida, and it's a like one possession game the whole second half. I mean, it's back and forth, and then finally, we create a two possession separation, and then there's a steal, breakaway dunk, and we're up 7 with like 12 seconds to play. And in my mind, I'm still on the sideline. I'm saying we're going to mess this up. We're going to do something to completely mess this thing up. And then all of a sudden they shoot the 3, they miss, buzzer sounds, and it just hits. And it's incredible. And now I'm listening to that, and I'm reminiscing about that whole time and that moment, and just what an unbelievable experience that whole week was.
Hey, Coach, thanks for taking time with us this morning. I reached out to you yesterday because I thought you'd give us some really good insight on what Porter Moser is going through this week as a first-time head coach, managing all the stuff leading up to that game on Saturday. Can you just kind of give us a view of kind of what he's having to work through right now and how you did that going through this for the first time?
Yeah, Jimmy, it's crazy because the buzzer sounds in that Elite Eight game, and you realize you won, and there's all kinds of emotions going on, and there's people like trying to put hats on your head, and you're trying to find your family, and it's and then before you know it, you got 100 media requests immediately after the game. Then you get on the plane and you go home, and you get home, and there's 5,000 fans waiting for you outside your arena. And now it's 1:30 in the morning when you finally get home, and you start realizing, like, all this is really nice. We got a game to play next week. We
yeah.
And I'm like, and I'm sitting there saying, and I'm going somewhere where I've never been before. What's coming my way? I've got no idea. So I utilized that next day, which is what I think Porter's been doing. I spoke to him, just trying to gather ideas from other people that have been in the moment for the first time as they reminisce what they think they did right, what they did wrong, leading through the week. And because between media, tickets, I told Porter, I said, man, deal with tickets, your players and their tickets now. Get that before you get on the plane to go, get that off everyone's plate. Eliminate that so there's as little distractions as possible as far as people bothering your players for tickets, because if not, it becomes a circus. And that's the one thing I tried to really focus in on early in the week to take it off the players' plate.
Frank, is it we're joined by Frank Martin, South Carolina head coach, who got his Gamecocks to the Final Four just a year ago. Is that the toughest aspect in preparation for the matchup in the Final Four, is dealing with the request and being pulled in a million different directions, and understanding that as a head coach you want to deflect all of that from your players and take it on yourself, but at the same time try to prepare your team as best and efficiently as possible?
Yeah, I'm a big creature of habit. I'm just when things get out of whack, I get nervous. When everything's in the same order, I'm okay. And two things about that week. Number one, there's just a lot of distractions, a lot of people. You end up, your players and as a coach, you end up dealing with a lot of stuff and gathering a lot of attention different than you have in the past. So you have to try to And you got to enjoy the week. You want your players to enjoy the week. I said this to Porter. You could be lucky and win 1,000 games and never ever play in the Final Four again. That's how hard it is to get there, and so you have to enjoy it. But at the same time, you're not going to the Final Four to celebrate. You're going to play a game and try and win 2 more and win the championship. And then the other part that to me was different is, and Jimmy, you're not too far removed from the sideline. You get in that routine Wednesday, Saturday, Thursday, Sunday, and then you go to the NCAA tournament. It's Thursday, Saturday, Friday, Sunday. Boom, boom, travel, play. Now all of a sudden you play Saturday, and you're off for 7 days. I told Will Muschamp, our football coach, I said, I don't know how you guys do it. I don't know how you spend 7 days between games and not lose your mind. By Friday, I was so worried. I had so much time to think that I was so worried that there was something that I didn't cover, or I covered it too much, or whatever. And I just wanted the game to start. And so that was the most. The hardest thing I had to manage that week.
Frank, you mentioned the run. We're talking about you getting to the Final Four and the distractions that come with it, and I wonder a couple of things. Certainly you've had time to appreciate that run, but people from the outside, fans who watch this tournament, obviously they have enormous expectations for their team, their university every year, and they want to make a Final Four run. Is there something you could cite that you could utilize in the future to try to help something like that happen again, or is it sort of the randomness of a team playing well at the right time with the right matchups?
Yeah, it's the second thing you said. It's all you can do is prepare. Winning one game in the regular season is very hard. Just one. Winning enough games to get to the NCAA tournament makes you part of an exclusive group. Then once you get into that tournament, it's a completely different animal than the season. It's all about matchups. It's all about – you can be a real good team, but I like to say it like this. In life, we all have our kryptonite. Well, it's no different than like with teams. I don't care how good your team is. Every team has its kryptonite. And if you get the wrong matchup, that's your kryptonite, your season goes out the window in like 40 minutes. It's and it's all matchups. It's and then think about Michigan. Michigan's in the Final Four. They are dead in the water playing Houston. Dead in the water, and that kid hits that Hail Mary, and now they're in the Final Four. And it's not that the sins are forgiven, but we don't remember that moment, and that's why they're still in the Final Four. And it's a whole combination of things, but matchups is the biggest thing.
Frank, looking back, how did you do? You mentioned it. You told Porter to enjoy this week. How did you do? What kind of a grade would you give yourself looking back in terms of did you really enjoy it like you wish you would have?
Jimmy, a capital A.
Good for you.
I made sure our players enjoyed it, and I made sure my staff enjoyed it. I spoke with 3 guys, Jimmy, before I took the week on. I spoke with Bob Huggins, I spoke with Billy Donovan, and then I spoke with Bill Cowher. And all 3 guys said, kind of independently of each other, the same thing. You're getting ready to go into something that not too many people can say they were a part of. Don't look back and say, why was I so miserable the whole week? Enjoy it. Prepare your team, and enjoy it. And I can tell you the 2 things from that week, Jimmy, that bring me unbelievable joy. First, Thursday and Friday night, I had former players come to my hotel room and watch film with me. So I'm sitting there watching film of Gonzaga, and I've got guys that played for me in high school, played for me at K-State. I got guys that grew up with me, and we're watching film together. And that brought me unbelievable peace and joy of the people that have been a part of my journey. And as I'm getting ready to coach on the biggest stage in our sport, everyone that was a part of that with me was sitting there living the preparation moment with me. Then the second part, that open practice on Friday, when I walked up on the court and I had my 2 boys, my 2 sons with me, just to sit there and as a dad, be able to say that my two sons enjoyed being a part of that journey. They got stories for a lifetime. And those are the two moments that just bring me tremendous joy.
Wow. Good for you, Coach.
That is fantastic. I actually, that's perfect, Frank. I won't hear anything better than that story all day long. And I want to thank you for joining me and Jimmy on the show this morning. And I hope you have a great week, and we'll talk to you again down the line, Coach.
I appreciate it. If I don't start recruiting better, man, get me a third seat. I'm coming to hang out with you.
Hey, Coach, before you go, you said earlier in your conversation, you said, when things get a little wacky, I get nervous. Like, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, I remember Coach's team getting pressed a little bit this year, and his guard's not really sure where they're going with the ball. and you had a few moments like that this year.
Oh, my God, Jimmy. Those are difficult moments right there.
Coach, have a good morning with your daughter. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
All right, so good to hear Frank Martin, coach there, who I think, by the way, turns out to be one of the coolest guys ever. He's inviting back kids that he coached in high school to sit and watch tape with him. That's really cool.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, hearing him say that and talk about how, well, you know, once I realized we were going to the Final Four, I wanted anybody that had ever had a significant impact in my life and helped me along the way to get to experience it. So I invited my ex-players from Kansas State and all the way back to high school to come sit down and break down film with me.
So I'm wondering, where's the loyalty to the program, Jim?
Anyhow, we get to do something fun here in a second, which we haven't done.
Sounds like somebody's loyal.
In a very long time. And we will welcome it back with open arms next to the Jeff Cameron Show.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
TNT Supercenter is your one-stop shop for the largest inventory of golf carts and accessories, stocking over 150 new and pre-owned carts with prices starting under $2,000. Whether you're looking for a standard or custom golf cart, TNT has the perfect cart for you. TNT carries and services leading brands and a full line of premium Mad Jacks accessories. Stop by or call to find out about our zero-down, low-interest rate financing, free delivery, and rental programs. Visit TNTSupercenter.com.
TNT. I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Customers constantly tell us that they're getting several estimates to compare apples to apples. You ever bite into an apple and find out the inside is rotten? Cheap roofing quotes are just like that rotten apple. Quote looks shiny and delicious because it's the cheapest, right? But you wind up with that rotten apple that leaks or starts to fail immediately. All roofing quotes are not equal. Cheap estimates equal cheap materials, subpar labor, or both. For quality that lasts, call us at 656-8112.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
License number CCC 049350.
This Day in Sports brought to you by Superlube. Superlube, 19 Tallahassee area locations. Quick, convenient, no appointment necessary.
This day in sports history. March 28, 1992. The Duke Blue Devils beat the Kentucky Wildcats in overtime of the NCAA Final Four in a game many would call the greatest tournament ever played. Christian Laettner went 10 for 10 from the field and the line to lead the Blue Devils.
He'll be remembered for his game-winning basket from the foul line as time expired.
Wow, it looks even better in person.
Oh, yeah. And I put nothing down on this bad boy.
Nice.
That's not even the best part. Navy Federal offers car loan decisions in 5 minutes or less, and you can do it all from your phone.
What?
Yeah.
That's amazing, dude.
Get pre-approved for your next new or used car at Navy Federal Credit Union and find something new to brag about. Visit NavyFederal.org to learn more. Open to everyone in the armed forces, the DoD, veterans, and their families. Federally insured by NCUA.
Did you know that propane-powered clothes dryers outperform electric models in energy efficiency, drying time, and garment protection? So dry your clothes more efficiently with propane. Propane water heaters give you more hot water at a more affordable price. Compared to electric, energy-efficient propane water heaters can reduce your energy costs significantly. For more information, call AmeriGas Propane here in Tallahassee at 877-1122.
Hi, honey. How was your day?
It was fine. Pretty uneventful. How about you?
Well, I called the auditors this afternoon and made an appointment for one to come out to the house.
Wait, what? Have you lost your mind? Auditors? Why would you call them? Now we have to find our tax returns, paycheck stubs, and financial records, not to mention all those forms. Good grief.
Relax, honey. It's not that kind of auditor.
It's not?
No. I called the City of Tallahassee Utilities and scheduled a free energy audit.
Energy audit?
Right. It's when an energy auditor from our own utilities comes out to the house, examines the structure, and checks our energy and water systems, and then recommends changes we might make to save energy, water, and money.
And you said it's free?
Absolutely. It's free from the City of Tallahassee Utilities, our own utilities.
Sounds good to me. Let's save some money.
If you're a City of Tallahassee residential, electric, and natural gas customer, you can schedule a free energy audit. Call 891-4YOU. That's 891-4968. And schedule your free energy audit at a time most convenient for you. A message from the City of Tallahassee Utilities, your own utilities.
Live from the AmeriGas Propane Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Balls Mick Wednesday.
Balls you flag.
Brought to you by TNT Supercenter, 14585 U.S. Highway 19, Thomasville, Georgia. Your one-stop shop for all your outdoor entertainment.
Good. We get to do this for the very first time of the new season, since we will not be on the air tomorrow, as we celebrate opening day with you guys. Anybody who wants to come out will be at Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, as we're want to be for opening day of the Major League Baseball season, which, you know, we'll head over there. I guess, what time is the first pitch of the first game? Is that noon?
I think it's
12:30.
Yeah. I know the Mets play at 1 o'clock against the Cardinals, and then I may have to, as the kids used to say, dip out for a minute to make sure the Braves broadcast is good against the Phillies, and then I'll return.
Yeah, this is, for that matter, we have the debut of that, too, tomorrow. So, Braves, Phillies, and I know most of you are saying, okay, when do the Pirates play? Well, I got you. That's at 1:10. That's the main game that we're waiting for. So, 1:10. I don't know what everybody else is doing, whether that be the Yankees or the Cubs or anybody else you might be interested in. But the Pirates play at 1:10. The Vegas wall makes it so it doesn't matter. Whenever your team plays, you can see it.
$2 dogs, $2 domestic draft beers, domestic or domestic, either one will be $2 for your drafts, their pints, and then a free slice of apple pie to every JCS listener tomorrow. How about that?
That's delicious. I think I'm inclined to go tomorrow really lowbrow, really American, and most American lagers are terrible, at least to my palate. The more sophisticated palate, obviously, Tom, you can't, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
But what you do
it's what they all say
on occasion is go ahead and slum it. And so for that, I think I'm a PBR guy tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go all PBR.
Are you going to wear a Pirates flannel shirt tomorrow to go with it? Yeah.
No. I think it's going to be 84 degrees. I'm not breaking out the flannel.
It would pair with the PBR very nicely.
It would, but I think I may wear... years ago, a friend of mine gave me kind of a a beat up old. I'm not a jersey guy. We've had this conversation before. I don't have like a Willie Stargell jersey. I do have a Willie Stargell shirt that's long sleeve, but if it's too hot, I don't know. I have a Pirates jersey that it was given to me by a listener, a friend. And I don't know. I may break that out. Those things are hot too, though.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to the season, but tomorrow's like, oh, yeah, we're playing baseball. It's not, all right. It's, oh, yeah, all right. So Syndergaard's throwing. We'll see how many starts we get with him this year before he's hurt.
I'm welcoming the pace of it all. This is exciting for me. This is a busy time. Listen, I've kind of talked about it some here, but we haven't gotten into it yet. We've got a kind of herky-jerky schedule going on over the next week and a half. It's just kind of weird. You know, this week's been weird. We had both the installation of new technology that we needed to get into play so that we could bring you the Braves broadcast. Then we ended up having a problem today and somewhat this morning with the T1 lines, which doesn't mean anything to you guys, but it's out of our control. It had to be fixed. That's why the station was off the air half the day. So you had that. We have tomorrow off because of opening day, which is an annual thing that we do, which, again, we can see all of you if you want to come out and enjoy yourself and get the $2 dogs and $2 beers and free apple pie and a whole bunch of baseball, which I would strongly encourage. And then we're back on Friday, but then Monday, I don't know. Tom, you may be finding this out just as I am. I think we're on the air Monday, but I got to make my way to Augusta as it's a first-time venture to the Holy Land, as they say, for the golf. And I'm going to do that, and this is going to be cool. And I do have to tell you, and I get it, because when I hear other people do this, I half-heartedly join in the fun, knowing that I won't be there. But I do sometimes, like when we went out to Los Angeles, when you and I went out there to Los Angeles, not once but twice, I was aware that there were plenty of people who would have liked to have been there, who are regular listeners of the show and would like something of value from either our broadcasts or the sights and sounds and things that we can't see, right? And I think I thought we did a pretty good job, the best we could. We broadcast live from there. We did all of that. We took plenty of photos for all to see. I am going to have an opportunity to walk the course and in one of the practice rounds with the ability to film and do some things. I was told that they'll let me do that. So, Tom, I will do that for the people.
Yeah,
I'm going to do that.
This reminds me of a conversation we had a long, long time ago.
Yes.
Back at the old place of employment in your corner studio, I should say.
That was my studio. Loved it.
And you were complaining to me about how much people show pictures of their kids. And you said, I don't give a blankety blank about your kids.
Right.
Stop it. Stop that nonsense.
But I already had kids back then.
But then you became a father of older children, and you will show your kids to anybody
but I don't
who is willing to see.
Yeah, but I don't bring it out to them. I'm talking about people who you barely know walk up to you showing pictures of your kids.
But this is like, oh, blank you when you see somebody post a picture of where they are. It be it Augusta or the Army-Navy game or something you haven't done before.
Right.
Well, blank this guy. You believe that? Look at this. Look at what he's doing right now.
A lot of people have gone in years ago. Many of our closest friends have gone, and numerous times at that. Matt Millar is forever going to the Masters, it seems, and others. And I've never had the good fortune. I feel like I've waited my time. I've earned this. I'm 46 years old, Tom. I could be dead in 4 years. You got to let me have this.
Yeah, no, that's true.
You got to
put it like that.
You got to let me get out there and see Augusta before I go.
Time is borrowed, and you're an overdue library
There
book.
you go. That's it. Yeah, and I'm late, and I'm asking not to pay the fine, and I'm saying it's somebody else's fault. But the point is, I'm here now. Take the book back. I enjoyed it. Let me enjoy this. I'm going to go and enjoy it. But I am going to provide plenty in the way of pictures and video and the like. And I'm going to make it even worse. You're going to be even angrier at me. Found out today I'm going to a very special dinner on Monday night that I don't want to get too deep in the woods here, in the weeds, and say everything that's involved. But you know who I'm going to be with? And this is going to be fun because I'm actually going to pick your brain on this. Mike Tirico.
Mike Tirico.
So I'm going to be there with Mike Tirico.
It's a pleasure to see you, Jeff.
Should we do something?
My, are you tall?
Should we do something where you imitate Mike Tirico and I can show it to him while I'm at this dinner and then send it back his reaction?
I could send a call of the Justin Rose clip, when he was playing in his first Open Championship and pulled out on the 72nd from the fairway. No, you're kidding me. Way to go, kid.
Well, okay. So
he'd probably appreciate that because that's a very nuanced approach there. Rather
I
than
remember
just,
it well, so do that, and I will. I'm bringing the phone to the dinner. It's a very hoity-toity dinner I got invited to. It is. It's cool. There's some other people that are going to be there that I'll tell you about off the air that I think is going to be weird because one of them we are just steady making fun of.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Berman.
No, he will not. No,
Berman's going to be there.
Not that I'm aware of. I think the great.
I'm going to get a call at 1 o'clock in the morning. Berman's the best. I take back everything I
Chris
said
right now. Berman, here. We're FaceTiming Tom. Look at me and Berman.
We're talking about the good old days, man. We're going back.
Oh, no. Cue up probables, sir. It is that time, and it's something that I get excited about every year. I'm pumped about it this year.
Before I do it, though, what do you want? Usually I pick a song, but it's the first one of the year.
Well, we always have a standard list that you pick from.
We have a Summer Breeze, Summer Wind, of course, and usually we wait for Frank until about May.
Yeah, it's not quite Summer Wind yet.
So it's the Summer Breeze, or we added Biggest Part of Me to the fold last year,
Did
too.
we do that?
Yeah.
Why don't we do Biggest Part of Me? What do you think? You feeling that?
I am.
Okay,
yes.
all right.
I was hoping you'd say that.
I can see you line up. It's well, you get to play it. You get to play the sounder and everything. Here we go. The first of the year, kids, as opening day is tomorrow.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
Oh, there it is. That just soothes the soul. Hand me that PBR.
Pound it.
Cubs, Marlins Park. 75 folks are in attendance to cheer on the Marlins.
75 Marlins fans. There'll be plenty of Cubs there.
That is true. John Lester makes his 7th opening day start, 3rd with the Cubs, heads into the season because he failed to reach 200 frames last year. It will also be his 2nd year with Wilson Contreras, who has helped cut down those stolen bases on John Lester. Jose Arena going to go for the hopeless Marlins.
You know that Bill Murray will be in the house tomorrow.
That is true. Probably right there behind home plate. My Buccos are on the road at Comerica Park to take on the Tigers. We got a disappointing and depressing opening day starter. Jamison Tye not getting the nod for this, just the way it worked out in spring training for the timing of this game. Ivan Nova on the bump for the Buccos. Jordan Zimmerman will go for the Tigers. We got Cardinals, Mets. Go Mets! I hope Noah Syndergaard pitches a complete game shutout to start the year. 92 pitch, complete game shutout. I don't want it to wear and tear on that arm, Tom.
Yeah. Does that mean we lose? No, it's a complete game. So we can only win a complete game shutout.
Only win, buddy. By the way, Syndergaard posted a 1.35 in his spring training outings coupled.
Because he wanted to throw 102 every game.
Which he achieved. Carlos Martinez is going to pitch for the Cardinals. Hope the Cardinals lose in glorious fashion. Twins-Orioles, Jake Odorizzi. Forgot about that. Gets the call on opening day for the first time in his career after being acquired by the Twins in a trade with the hapless Rays. It'll be a long year down there in St. Petersburg. Baltimore will throw Dylan Bundy. I don't know that they feel great about that. Astros, Rangers, Justin Verlander. I've got to imagine Justin Verlander gets up every morning happier than hell. World Series champion. He's won Cy Young Awards. He's laying next to that. Life's good to be Justin Verlander. Today's a good day. So is yesterday. So will tomorrow be.
Yeah, that's true.
Justin Verlander on the bump. Cole Hamels going to go for the Rangers. He's making his 4th opening day start. 2nd for the Rangers. 7-2 with a 4.35 ERA and 12 starts at home last year. 1-1 with a 5.40 and 2 starts versus the Astros last year. There you go. It's a lot of information I give you on that opening day start. Yankees, Blue Jays. Of course, J.A. Happ will throw a 2-hitter, and I'll sit there and say, damn it, man.
It's been years now.
It's been a couple years. Could have had him for nothing. J.A. Happ from the left side going with the opening day start. I don't know that's great opening day starter. Luis Severino going to go for the Yankees. Yankees with high expectations this year. No, I guess no lower the bar would be a World Series championship in New York. They got to be feeling that way.
Yeah,
right?
I saw the list came out. The AP put a list of the top payrolls in the MLB, and it's the Yankees' lowest ranking, not total dollar amount, but lowest ranking in the payroll department in the MLB since the 90s.
Well, they're not having to pay, I guess,
they're
the biggest chunk
8th or
of that.
9th or whatever it is. But, yeah, for them, they've never been that low in 20-plus years.
Red Sox, Rays, Chris Sale going to go for Boston on the bump for the Rays. Chris Archer's got to be thinking, can I get the hell up out of here? Angels, Athletics, Garrett Richards. Ooh. Who are you going with on opening day? Garrett Richards. Garrett Richards, are you? That's who we're rolling out there. A little Garrett Richards action. Okay. Kendall Graveman can go for the A's. He was on the bump last year for opening day for the Oakland Athletics. Brewers, Padres, Chase Anderson. Mr. Anderson pitching for the Brewers, a very improved Brewers team, unfortunately, in the Pirates division. Clayton Richard going to go for the Padres. Clayton Richard going for the Padres. Phillies, Braves, you can hear that right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio, 4:10 p.m.
Yeah, it's the first pitch. We're aiming to put on the pregame show. We'll see if we're going to carry it or not, but you can rest assured we will have the first pitch of the game right here. That starts a little after 4 p.m.
Why would we not have the pregame show? I'm just curious.
Concerns after today's off-air mishaps. There may be some clearance issues with some clients that need to make sure that they're on the air.
Do the clients right. That's okay.
We'll confirm it in the morning.
Aaron Nola going to go for the Phillies. The Braves will throw Julio Teheran. White Sox, Royals, James Shields, Danny Duffy. Feels like they squared off every day of the week last year. It seemed like every time we did a probables, Shields and Duffy again. Look at that.
As a reference, I mean, the on-deck show, so to speak, for the Braves, starts at 2:55. I mean, so you're running an hour plus for a pregame show.
Only on opening day would that be necessary, or the postseason.
Right. Yeah, but they do that every night. Can you imagine?
No. I would say, guys, I don't get paid enough. What are we doing here? I'm going to talk for a full hour before the Giants, Dodgers, Ty Blanche, Clayton Kershaw. It's baseball. How much do I got to break down here?
Right, yeah.
Are we taking calls? I don't want to take calls.
Here's our lineup from 1 to 9, and next segment we'll read our lineup from 9 to 1. Huh?
Cleveland, Seattle, Corey Kluber, Felix Hernandez, and finally we round it out from those that showers out of the bump with the Rockies and the D-backs, 10:10 p.m. All right, D-backs. John Gray going to go for the Rockies. Patrick Corbin goes for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And that is a look at those that shall reside on the bump for opening day.
Yeah.
How was it? We worked in the double down right there with the summer breeze, too.
Well, that was about 6.5 minutes worth of some probables. That's how we got to the second song.
A lot of probables. We needed to take our time and welcome back a function of the Jeff Cameron Show that many have come to embrace. It's something as silly as announcing names of those that will be pitching in baseball games that night. But that's the standard. That's what you do. There is consistency in that. It represents baseball in that way, and it's what we love.
The one constant through all the years, Ray, has been baseball. America has rolled by like an army of steamrollers. It's been erased like a blackboard, rebuilt and erased again. But baseball has marked the time. This field, this game, is a part of our past, Ray. It reminds us of all that once was good, and it could be again. Oh. People will come, Ray. People will most definitely come.
I like hearing that, the pace of that in the era of, we have to welcome back baseball because we live in a culture of complaint. And baseball kind of encourages you not to. Leave the culture of complaint behind. Let's just enjoy a little damn baseball, shall we, together tomorrow at the Corner Pocket.
Unless you're a New York baseball fan. Come on! 3-0, you suck! Throw strikes!
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir, there's 162 games. Mm-hmm. They're going to be playing a lot of these.
Yeah.
Some aren't going to go your way.
No.
Occasionally, really good players going to play poorly.
Yep.
That ball that looked a lot like a strike was on the edge. Went with ball. It's okay.
Could have used that call, but
hey, it happens. It hurts. Not all of those go your way either. But by the way, you're going to get some of those too on the other side. Your guy's going to throw a ball that pretty much looked outside the zone, gets called a strike. It evens out, man.
Mm-hmm.
Leave that culture of complaint behind.
Right. We get to September. Hey, change the rules.
All right, ratchet it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Ratchet it up a little bit.
It's March. We're playing baseball in March, and it counts.
Go. Yay. Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. Thanks for listening, everybody. Be well. Do we get the good show tomorrow? We get the good show coming up next?
Yeah, Front Row Knowles.
I call it the good show. The Front Row Knowles next with Tim Lenefeld.